when it was Kemet, Black Egypt. It was a Nile Valley civilization. Black Egypt. It wasn't no Mediterranean culture. Like and subscribe. You gon' get tormented for 4 minutes if it's war. When it just said Jessaru got a false door in it. The Nubian flow, that's before Kemet. My Kim T got rubies and gold, and it's fit for a Kushite king. But what it looks like, the green Sahara ring bearer, bring terror to your satellite kingdom, so they do not bother me. Scarification look like wavy line pottery. Kush with the black top pots, a rap top notch, and I could kick it till your laptop stops. I'm like Tahaka, Shabaka, or Pianti, the author's a father. Any cocky, I came down the Nile through the lands of Kush, living a pre-dynastic pharaoh way and marrow way. Kerma, Khartoum, or Simna by the 5th cataract. Now I put the 5th wheel on the Cadillac. So much ride, a white man couldn't battle that though. They had to paddle back. Black Egypt. Black Egypt. Black Egypt. Gotta look and see where the Nile started. Black Egypt. And how it was easier to go downstream than upstream. And which way the river flowed. Don't look at the color, look at the culture. Black Egypt. What you know about Dynasty 00? Roll through with Shimsu, Heru on the standard. Ta-Nehisi, Sudanese G's. Try to test me, I'm an archer from Taseti. The squad ready, so I'm stepping in with the extra thin leopard skin. A tail on the apron with my crown on. You can crack jokes, but I ain't the one to clown on. Hey yo, Egypt was black, and that's a fact. All you little suckers need to step on back. They tried to throw us off, but we kept on track. We started doing research, but you slept on that. And with Kemet, it don't matter what the name mean. If it's a black culture, then that's the same thing. Race science is a lame thing. Ever since Nubian times, I let the chain swing. How the first known in Egypt was Taseti, but Taseti was Taseti already. Yep, it meant the land of the bow, and when Egyptians needed archers, this is where they would go to recruit them. I got arrows and I shoot them. Who them fake pharaohs? I uproot them and use Black Egypt. Black Egypt. Black Egypt. Black Egypt.
Oh, what up, what up?
Black Egypt.
What up, what up?
Black Egypt.
That's slap.
Black Egypt.
How y'all doing today? Hope all is well. Hope everybody chilling. Another good day. You feeling good? Ready for some more good information? We gonna get to rocking. That was some fun. You know? They don't make me listen to hella ass. Watch. Let's see.
I'm the rock squad up, Magi archers in the building, please believe.
Oh shit.
If you ain't Sinetta, no time for that interview, dog. I put my shit out for niggas, I don't send it to blogs. Clan kill off the Buddha, not being discreet. One puff, this big pops and projectiles. Between the sheets. Sun run, cold game, bring your cleats. The best flow blow, Eskimo, penguin feet. Don't need no blunt to burn. You run the turf with 10 niggas on the block. That's a punt return. Ayo, Dolomite prototype soldier with the solar light. Saber and he hold it like he hold a mic. Golden ice spenders, sipping on that overpriced poltergeist spirits. Ripping at the open mic, quote the nice lyrics like Mama moved mean overnight. Golden motorbike holding on some Tron shit. That nice neon kit is on it. The king's libation with exotic liqueur. The queen's vibration like a Sada Shakur. A lot of decor, imported foreign threads, they ain't got it to store. Nubian Kush, and black top pottery jaws, 39% THC, the quality pure. Old rappers try to spit, ain't hot as before. It's like I'm fine,
Don, you rhyming now, boy.
Cats switch
That
up
boy
they
put up
style
some
when they ain't
bars.
got it no more. Cause they gotta keep their product in stores to feed their kids. See what that weed did? The yes man agreeing on everything we said. I smother the mic like it's the love of my life. Don't get sliced and beat with the butt of the knife. Brother polite, I say I'm animal.
Babylon Don said, I right the wrongs of those who right the wrong. I said, I smother the mic like it's the love of my life. Don't get shot, then beat with the butt of the knife. Brother Polite say I'm animalistic.
Ballistic, cause I still be in the hood with my hand on my pistol. The Hebrews think I'm cannibalistic. E5 divination, channel the mystic. Audio visionary, let's play poetical Pictionary. Picture me burning down your missionary. Yeah, then I send you religion. That red dot on your head, that's Hindu tradition. Invisible,
right.
independent, intrinsic shit. I'll bring it all to an end with indivisible gains. Charles Xavier, getting your brain. Mental anguish, a manifesting physical pain. Wisdom remains to dance in the chemical rain. Breathe slow, then I'm up out of this physical plane. Got military machinery that exercise weaponized greenery. Shine at a jeopardize the scenery, son. Bruh, the beam 10 times your distance. Inclines convention. Stop rising with no trend line resistance. The parabolic breakout. I'm F-16 with the aeronautic fake out.
God killer, the God killer, the God killer, the God killer. It's the God killer, the God killer.
That's who it is.
The God killer, the God killer. It's the God killer, the God killer, the God killer, the God killer. It's the God killer, the God killer, the God killer, the God killer. It's the God killer. Oh, we gonna have some fun. Before we get into it, I'm just about to have y'all rolling. Cause you know, right, we be making all the new waves in hip hop. We gonna stop that before it start playing.
Ashley's Black Friday mattress sale is going on now.
Ashley's got me mad at them talking about y'all sale. They sent me all kind of damaged furniture. Ashley's. You know what? That commercial gonna make me bust them out. Anyway, let's get it in. I know y'all seen, last night was crazy massacre. I wasn't even a part of it. I just stepped back and watched. It was ugly. Sometimes you just step back and watch. You know what I'm saying? And today, y'all can kick back and listen. And kick back and watch. I'm about to open it up in a minute. I'm just looking for something. Everybody, peace to the chat. Peace to the chat. Oh, yeah, that's what I was about to play. It was hella fun. I was on that hip-hop vibe. Let me see. I just was playing around, right? And I'll put something on Instagram. It'll go lightweight, get some lightweight views. But I put it on, I put it on whatever this is, YouTube, and it just be doing nothing. So I don't be tripping. But this is Rollers. I played it before. I just took my lyrics and popped it in the AI and then put together a little quick video to it. But people on Instagram seem to be able to hear my lyrics better when another person is saying them. And that's crazy to me. That's why I like ghostwriting. But this is funny. I'm just going to play it and then we're going to get into it.
Y'all dudes wanna bang? I'll have you like Casual was tripping. I wore blue to the Republican National Convention. I'm a boss. No, that's my actual position. With chicks, I take my pick like I just got my natural conditioned. Mr. This Your Sister? It's the game that will relax her so the click can twist her. But you are not your hair. My best girl used to rock the Johnson S-Curl Sex Thorough in my scuba gear with Cheryl. And I cracked the clam that possessed the best pearl. Look at my oily hands. I'm royally grand. Put me over some heat and watch me bubble like water in boiling pans to foil your plans with my loyalist fans. And if you ever looking for the man, you better beat the street. I won't leave fingerprints on your freak physique. Be hard to find. At the telly with hella my partners. You at the deli, trench-coated like Telly Savalas. Regardless if he spit it the hardest, I give it to artist your favorite. Be your dearly departed. I lyrically audit albums to make sure the math right.
Oh, don't worry,
That
Reggie.
chick from last
Arches
night
is
gets
on
the math
deck.
right.
Always. We never
Overseas
waver,
mommy,
baby.
please appease her with a visa. Cheap skeezer, I just stepped out the deep freezer. In the breeze for she's. Grab my keys, finna leave with a dick teaser named Felicia and Fifi. Get twerk. I hooked her ass up on the G3 network with Efi X work. And every now and then catch me at Eastmont Mall. When them chickens scream, it sounds like a peacock call. Call the beat shop with a speaker box. Back in the day, Touré used to beatbox heat rocks. I wasn't selling tapes, I couldn't visit no street blocks. When everybody got Adidas, we got Reeboks. Your boy Dre knows I should have.
Oh, you want me to 50 Cent them? Hey, I'm good at 50 Cent them, Rock, man. I'm trying to be mature, bro. I can slap all these dudes up, bro. Y'all know that. We not talking about that. We talking about with this information. Come on, dude. I'm built for that. That's what I do, and I'm trying to be better as a person. I can make everybody, JB all in. Matter of fact, watch how quick. I'm so unget-aroundable. I mean, I hate to say it, and I'm not trying to sound that way, but when it come down, you on the battlefield, save your humility for the praises that you're going to give after you win the battle. But you need to put your ego on the forefront and pick up your sword and show that you're going to hit that mug right in the eye. Like a Magi archer. You feel me? So I don't even trip. I'm just playing around. Let's get to it. We could get right to it. They dead as soon as I click the button. Y'all know they dead as soon as I click the goddamn button. Every time I do it, they say, oh, we're going to wait for the experts. Because we don't have the prowess that you have in discerning the ancient Egyptian language. So they already on a lopsided battlefield. And I'm just playing with my rats like a cat. You ever seen a cat catch a mouse? Don't feel like killing it yet? Slap that mug up for a minute, let it run for a minute. See how quick you is to catch it. Ooh, I just caught it too quick. Let me let it go again. They super dead. So I'm just over here playing with the hip hop because they can't even do nothing. As soon as I press the button, they done. I write. I do work. I stay up all night and shit to address these issues. We ain't even tripping because they're going to be so. Matter of fact, we coming out with haymakers. Let me just open up a presentation since I ain't finished this video yet because I'm making a whole movie for they monkey ass. Since they want to get prolific, let's do it. Cats don't even got no skills. They can't even throw in the kitchen sink. They just gonna keep on talking. You getting hit from every angle, fucking with the Magi. Here go the song. Hit y'all with the song.
When it was Kemet, Black Egypt, it was a Nile Valley civilization. Black Egypt. It wasn't no Mediterranean culture. Like and subscribe. You gon' get tormented for 4 minutes if it's war. When it just said Jessaru got a false door in it. The Nubian flow, that's before Kemet. Masa Kim T got rubies and gold, and it's fit for a Kushite king. But what it look like, the green Sahara ring bearer, bring terror to your satellite kingdom, so they do not bother.
Y'all hear all that shit.
Look like wavy line pottery, Kush with the black top pots.
My scarification look like wavy line pottery.
Starts them like Tahaka, Shabaka, or Pianki, the author's a father. Any cocky, I came down the Nile through the lands of Kush, living a pre-dynastic pharaoh way and marrow way. Kerma, Khartoum, or Simna by the 5th cataract. Now I put the 5th wheel on the Cadillac. So much ride, a white man couldn't battle that though. They had to paddle back. Black Egypt.
How they want it? Cause they dead, bro.
Black Egypt. Black Egypt. You gotta look and see where the Nile started. Black Egypt.
I know how I'm gonna give it to them.
Downstream and upstream.
We gonna mix it all up. We gonna hit them with a hot Dukin real quick. Hold up.
Black Egypt. What you know about Dynasty 00? Roll through with Shimsu, Heru on the standard. Ta-Nehisi, Sudanese G's. Try to test me. I'm an archer from Taseti, the squad ready, so I'm stepping in with the extra thin leopard skin. A tail on the apron with my crown on. You can crack jokes, but I ain't the one to clown on.
That's still the knowledge right there. Listen.
Hey, yo, Egypt's black, and that's a fact. All All you little suckers need to step on back. They tried to throw us off, but we kept on track. We started doing research once you slept on
Y'all
that.
slept.
And we Kemet, it don't matter what the name means. If it's a black culture, then that's the same
Same thing, bruh.
Race science is a lame thing. Ever since Nubian times, I let the chain swing. How the first known of Egypt was Tasseti.
Tell me that.
Tasseti was Tasseti already.
Tell me that.
Yep, it meant the land of the bow. And when Egyptians needed archers, this is where they would go to recruit them. I got arrows and I shoot them. Who them fake pharaohs? I uproot them and use Black Egypt.
And that's
Black
another
Egypt.
stream right there.
Black Egypt. Black Egypt. Black
Let me
Egypt.
find that so I can stop that.
Black Egypt. Black Egypt.
But we ain't tripping. I'm gonna let my man, hold on. Let's listen to this. Let me see what this is. This should be a beat by my man, and we're gonna listen to this information over this slap and just see how they just really just can't even deal with it. All they could do is bump their gums. Hold up. Shout out to
At
A+.
Arizona State University, we're committed to
Arizona
our
State,
student
that's where
success.
my
That's why
nephew
we've
go.
designed
Hold
our
on, I
online
gotta turn
courses
that
to
down,
utilize
bro.
adaptive
Nephew out there playing the corner for Arizona. Boy, what y'all want to do? I'm just playing. Shout out to him. Never put them in that, but you know, peace to the family. Now here
Cali
we go.
class.
I'm waiting for this commercial to be done. Then I'm gonna play this A+ beat, and since I ain't finished with this video and this music yet, we just gonna give y'all the audio so y'all can already know y'all dead. You wanna know why? Because you can't get around this shit. And you don't got the scholar. Why ain't nobody came with that Egyptologist? Cats will go find a Christian theologian to prove something. Go get that Egyptologist. And let's talk about this ancient Egyptian grammar. Pay them they issue and call smash and see what happens. All right, we got A+ on deck. Hold on. See, please always be there ready to kill y'all. Hold on. He might want to kill y'all meaner though. This is an A+ beat album, and we about to listen to some audio. All right. Yeah, there you go, please. All right, I told you. We can get y'all from angles y'all can't even fuck with. Oh, nah, y'all got to be dead. Because I'm going to bring it all the way to hip-hop. All the way to the whole entire world. Now, you're dead. Want to hear how dead you is? Let's face it.
I address this letter with a fervent commitment to tackle the assertions and objections raised by a group of individuals regarding the study of ancient Egypt. These claims, although passionately presented, require a comprehensive response grounded in historical accuracy, scholarly perspective, and an understanding of the complexities surrounding this subject. 1. The meaning of Kem. Let's commence our journey by dispelling the misconceptions surrounding the term Kem. In the realm of the ancient Egyptian language, Kem indeed translates to black. However, we must understand that this terminology existed in a bygone era, far removed from our modern constructs of race. Although used to denote one's physical appearance, Kem wasn't a simplistic descriptor of skin color. It carried intricate connotations. It encompassed the color black, but also symbolized more profound concepts, such as completeness and supreme majesty of divinity. Attempting to graft modern racial definitions onto this multifaceted term is a distortion of its true historical significance. In actuality, the veneration of the black god Weesir, embodied in the form of Kem, represents a unique and intriguing facet of their religious devotion. A distinction that stands apart from the religious practices of African Americans, and one that is barred for anyone living under the auspices of this European social construct. On the other hand, Osiris, the god of the afterlife and resurrection, was often depicted with black skin. This unique representation of a black deity offers a profound contrast to the religious traditions of African Americans, whose spiritual beliefs require no mandate for its chief deity to reflect their effigy. Ancient Egyptians developed many religious practices and beliefs. This led them to forming their own cosmogonies, which fostered a unique form of anthropological thinking.
Pause and everybody say they can't fuck with Smash. Just say it. Don't curse wherever you at, because you know it's the goddamn truth. Let's go.
The question arose, NM Irie MMRMT, who made man? In one ancient Egyptian creation story, Khnum made man on the potter's wheel. Interestingly enough, Khnum was the god of the cataract and the god of the Nile silt. Prior to Hapi, Khnum was seen as the god of the source of the Nile. The source of the Nile River is Lake Victoria, located in East Africa. Lake Victoria is the largest lake in Africa and is shared by 3 East African countries, Uganda, Kenya, and Tanzania. The Nile River flows northward from Lake Victoria and eventually splits into 2 main tributaries, the White Nile and the Blue Nile in northern Sudan. The black silt that enriches the Nile River's floodplain is brought in by the annual inundation. These black silt deposits created an alluvial floodplain that ancient Egyptians called Kemet, the Black Land. Linguistically, with respect to the canons of Egyptian grammar, the term KMT may be composed of the root term KM black, with a feminine or topographical T amendment to it in suffix, rendering KMT Kemet. The category of the term is indicated by its O49 determinative, which denotes a polity or a city situation. The KM root represents blackness. KMT may arrive as another way to say black, with T as part of the root term, as in KMT black cattle or KMT black leather. Both of these terms classify items with determinative, and they use KMT to label the entire item by its physical appearance. In the case of the masculine black bull, there's no reason to believe the TE in KMT is a gender-signifying suffix amended to the KM root. This is confirmation that KM means black, and KMT can be used for black items of any category. With respect to the alluvial floodplain of the Nile, Egypt was just called black. The definite article, the, was not employed in this term. The category for this blackness was 049, city, crossroads, towns. This is how scholars conclude KMT means the Black Land, but no morpheme in the term KMT represent the idea of the or land. It was the black alluvial soil that Khnum made the gods out of. The god Wisir, Osiris, is often depicted as black and is even called KMI. Kemi is a nisba formed on the root term KM to say black one. Osiris was the black one. Kemi is also the name of Egypt in Coptic. Khnum formed man from the alluvial black silt deposits on the Nile. With black clay, you can only mold a black man similar to Yahweh of the Hebrew tradition and lexicon, forming Adam, man, out of adamant, red clay. Both of these terms are based on the Semitic root diem for blood. The tapestry weaving Adam, Adamat, and Dam together is redness. Adam being the Semitic red man, adamant being the red clay he was made from, and Dam being the red blood that runs through his veins. Likewise, in Egypt, Kem represents a black person, made from Kemet Amet, black soil. And instead of his blood being black, the Kemetic correlation is with the blackness of divinity, represented by magnitudes of melanin. If Khnum made man from black silt, he made a black man just like Yahweh used red clay to make Semites. Certainly.
Conclusion. Evidence we can present for the elements that might be of use for detecting creolization in the archaeological...
You see, it's just gonna, you see how ugly it's gonna get? Huh? Please, let's turn that beat up. Hold on. Because I know somebody at the house like, damn.
Everybody wants to be happy. In fact, most of the things we're doing in our lives, we are doing either one, because it's making us happy, or two, we think that it will eventually make us happy.
You feel me, please? I'm trying to tell us, man, we ain't over here trying to soul search. Most of the things we doing in our life is because it makes us happy, or eventually we think it's gonna make us happy. Brakes beat off. breaks, beat off. It'll probably take them a month to digest what they just heard. And then let her start talking. See, I can't give y'all the whole movie.
Record of the First Cataract region can be summarized as follows.
But y'all in trouble. Slow it down, man. Slow it down. And put it on the screen so they can understand they just got dissed. All right? I just dissed you.
Conclusion.
Nah, bring it back.
I address this letter with a fervent commitment to tackle the assertions and objections raised by a group of individuals regarding the study of...
Y'all know them group of individuals. They all wear flip-flops. Toes out. Tripping. They all wear flip-flops. Especially when I'm on. I like sparing people. You know, somebody come through, you might not get killed every time. You pop that wrong lip, oh my God, it's gonna be like...
You wish you never had said no shit like that.
Messing up DNA. Let's slow it down for them. Because they what a tangle web you weave. There's no way out of this.
Ancient Egypt. These claims, although passionately presented, require a comprehensive response grounded in historical accuracy, scholarly perspective, and an understanding of the complexities surrounding this subject.
Man, hold on.
1. The meaning
Man,
of...
I've been writing since I was a little ass kid. They gave me this book. You know them manila books with the manila covers? And and they had double lines. You were supposed to learn your ABCs. They was them big books for kindergarten. Filled up my whole thing with raps. Got in trouble. I read my articles from 2010 and 2011 when first started debating with Asar Imhotep and them. All my articles still correct and public. They have all flip-flopped since then. Changed their stance. Now Bantu ain't more, is Bantu still closer to ancient Egyptian than Coptic? Yes or no? Have you heard that lately? Have you heard anything about a riparian zone lately? Y'all better start realizing what's going on. Get right or get left. Get right or get left. That's what it's looking like. Them lies ain't working.
Chem. Let's commence our journey by dispelling the misconceptions surrounding the term chem. In the realm of the ancient Egyptian language, chem indeed translates to black. However, we must understand that this terminology existed in a bygone era, far removed from our modern constructs of race. Although used to denote one's physical appearance, chem wasn't a simplistic descriptor of skin color. It carried...
Man, this is easier than writing battle raps. It's the same tactics. I'm just dismantled y'all. I'm about to just take your social construct and play with it like Eminem playing with a disc that you threw at him. Dismantle it. Show you the lack of why even being an African American, I'm talking about in the way that we espouse it and not having a mandate to venerate a black deity like the ancient Egyptians have, that'll have you in menticide already. And that's all a part of this attachment to this social construct. That's the only thing y'all can refer to deny the blackness of ancient Egyptians. But I said it more scholastically because I sat down and wrote, so let's listen.
Although used to denote one's physical appearance, Kem wasn't a simplistic descriptor of skin color. It carried intricate connotations. It encompassed the color black, but also symbolized more profound concepts, such as completeness and supreme majesty of divinity. Attempting to graft modern racial definitions onto this multifaceted term is a distortion of its true historical significance. In actuality, the veneration of the black god Weesir, embodied in the form of Kem, represents a unique and intriguing facet of their religious devotion, a distinction that stands apart from the religious practices of African Americans and one that is barred for anyone living under the auspices of this European social construct. On the other hand, Osiris, the god of the afterlife and resurrection, was often depicted with black skin. This unique representation of a black deity offers a profound contrast to the religious traditions of African Americans, whose spiritual beliefs require no mandate for its chief deity to reflect their effigy. Ancient Egyptians developed many religious practices and beliefs. This led them to forming their own cosmogonies, which fostered a unique form of anthropological thinking. The question arose, NM Irie MMRMT, who made man? In one ancient Egyptian creation story, Khnum made man on the potter's wheel. Interestingly enough, Khnum was the god of the cataract and the god of the Nile silt. Prior to Hapi, Khnum was seen as the god of the source of the Nile. The source of the Nile River is Lake Victoria, located in East Africa. Lake Victoria is the largest lake in Africa and is shared by 3 East African countries, Uganda, Kenya, and Tanzania. The Nile River flows northward from Lake Victoria and eventually splits into 2 main tributaries, the White Nile and the Blue Nile, in northern Sudan. The black silt that enriches the Nile River's floodplain is brought in by the annual inundation. These black silt deposits created an alluvial floodplain that...
Hold on, let's get to any questions real quick. The source on what? I'll give you the source on any of this. Just Google it. So sometimes it's like this. Just, if something is like that before, because, if we playing chess, right, and your opening move is to ask for a source, well, if the source is easily found and sometimes often even common givens for people who study the field, then you just made a bad opening move. By asking for some information that could possibly be easily publicly obtained, and then posing that. I'm not saying that's what you're doing, Zotar. Don't get it twisted. I know how you rock. But I'm outlining this for people. Okay. Now, let me finish saying what I'm saying before I start to get the context of what you're saying. You feel me? Because now it seems like what I was detailing actually flipped back around, because then you added of black silk. You feel me? So I asked you what you was asking for, and you said the source. I thought you was asking for the source in the article. And then you said of black silk. And so now I'm just in a pardon me moment. You know what I'm saying? That's hella funny. So yeah, but if you want the source of what the source of black silk was, we all know that it was the it was the floodplain coming down. Excuse me. It was the flood of the Nile, which created an alluvial floodplain in the areas of Egypt. I hope that answers. You didn't even ask a question, but I hope that answers what was interesting, or cleared up what appeared to be interesting. Yeah, he wasn't doing that. He wasn't actually. He was speaking towards the source of the Nile flood, and I guess some didn't know how far down that was, or how actually Khnum was the god of the source of the Nile. We can look all of these up very easily. I'm just gonna grab this and pop it in the. So this is what I mean. Like if somebody getting at you and you think they first, I'm at least gonna Google it if I don't know it. So I'll pop the source of the now in here, and then it took me right to Canoe when I put the source of the now. So after I seen that, I wouldn't have said anything else, even though it don't say the source of the now in here. As soon as I put the God of the source of the now, it took us to Canoe and Google, which would give me an indication that that was probably him. But shout out to you. So let's keep it popping. I want to get back hyphy though, so let me listen.
The god of the source of the Nile. The source of the Nile River is Lake Victoria, located in East Africa. Lake Victoria is the largest lake in Africa and is shared by 3 East African countries, Uganda, Kenya, and Tanzania. The Nile River flows northward from Lake Victoria and eventually splits into 2 main tributaries, the White Nile and the Blue Nile in northern Sudan.
I hope that answers your question,
The black silt that enriches the Nile River's floodplain is brought in by the annual inundation. These black silt deposits created an alluvial floodplain that...
Now, here go the funnier part that make everybody feel checkmated. Canoe made man on the potter's wheel, as I detailed, out of the black silt. And you think he made somebody else than a black man? The black silt that they called Kim. But here go the funnier part. Canoe was the god of the cataract. Canoe was the god of the source of the Nile. You can't make this up. And guess what else he was the god of? The actual black silk. So he made Mediterraneans out of black silk.
Uganda, Kenya, and Tanzania. The Nile River flows northward from Lake Victoria and eventually splits into 2 main tributaries, the White Nile and the Blue Nile in northern Sudan. The black silt that enriches the Nile River's floodplain is brought in by the annual inundation. These black silt deposits created an alluvial floodplain that ancient Egyptians called Kemet, the Black Land. Linguistically, with respect to the canons of Egyptian grammar, the term KMT may be composed of the root term KM black, with a feminine or topographical T amendment to it in suffix, rendering KMT Kemet. The category of the term is indicated by its O49 determinative, which denotes a polity or a city situation. The KM root represents blackness. KMT may arrive as another way to say black, with T as part of the root term, as in KMT black cattle or KMT black leather. Both of these terms classify items with determinative, and they use KMT to label the entire item by its physical appearance.
Now let's stop, because that's another checkmate, and I know we got some of the best grammarians listening. Tell me when he say something wrong. He won't, because I told him what to say. See how it got an effect on you when you're hearing it coming from a white voice? And this is everything that I'm saying. This is my writing. I could take my book, pop it in the AI, and then y'all gonna be like, damn, bombs over Baghdad. Well, you know, I know there's a lot in what people perceive as a standard scholastic or academic presentation. But I don't present myself as a standard scholar or academic. I'm more of just an independent researcher who just found myself here. As I see it has been a natural progression since we chose the name hieroglyphics in the early 90s. Let's hear what the grammarians have to say about this part.
Black, with T as part of the root term, as in KMT black cattle or KMT black leather. Both of these terms classify items with determinative, and they use KMT to label the entire item by its physical appearance.
Let me show y'all what I mean. If I come in here This is, and then that's building on Sandro Capocici's knowledge that he gave to me. All right, now look, if I come in here and go KM, hopefully it'll pop up. Normally they want me to do the KM route. Here we go. Now let's see. Now look at this. It's easy to see, and it's so easy to see that you don't gotta be blind to see this. I mean, you know what I should have said. Now look, KMT. There's no attestation for this is what the red means, but we can find it. Here's another one. KMT. Notice here grammatically, they're not stating the cow here. But this is a black cow or what have you, black bull, right? In the Medu Neter, it actually says here Kimu, but they know that the rendering is often KMT. And a bull is masculine. So that means amending a feminine T onto the root for black Kim would make no sense if you're saying something masculine. You only amend the T to say feminine. So what you're learning here is that to say black bull, you don't even say the bull part. You simply say Kemet. And now I'm sure the variations on the vowels that are in between there would make the person know whether you're talking about a bull, a person, or black leather. Let's come down here. Again, it says black cattle. But in parentheses, as I told you, the blackness was a mandate towards divinity in magnitudes of melanin. I meant it. Because they understand that this herd is divine by it being simply called Kemet and no other words. No other sounds coming out of your mouth. But we don't know, again, the vowels that accompany those, but we got a pretty good indication of what they are. So do y'all see it's not two words that form black cattle? It's only one word, and that word is Kemet. And then we understand that the cow is black because they use a determinative to let us know what category that blackness is in. So it's a black bull, black cattle, because it got 3 plural strokes behind it. Even with the arrival of Kim Black, Kemet completion. There would have to be some variation in the vowels between Kemet completion and Kemet black and Kemet black bull and Kemet black land and Kemet black leather for the person speaking, because you don't speak with determinatives. You don't. You can't. What you gonna do? A sign language every time you say Kemet to let them know? You could possibly do that. But that's not the case. So if you can see what's being illustrated here, they're getting 2 ideas out of one term, Kemet. Black is one idea and cattle is the second idea. Now let's be very clear. The first idea, black, is what's coming from the Kemet. The second idea is determined by the category of this blackness. As you see the category switching as I go down the page. What will remain the same is the Kemet. Now this category of the blackness is a city situation or a town that they expand on to say a land. But when we do philology and I'll be saying this and I try to show it. And I cite it when I say it, so I'll tell you a text to look into. Sin Roset, right? I think it's Sin Roset the first. No, not Sin Roset. The story of Sinuhe, when he was being addressed by Sin Roset, 12th dynasty, right? And we know this the story. We talk about it often, but here go another point you learn from learning that story. Dang, it just flew away like a bird on my shoulder. So I'm going to just go through it slow. Oh, here we go. Now, in the 12th dynasty, we get all of these terms. Cush, we get Kemet, let's just deal with Cush and Kemet right there, right? Now, when Sinuhe was saying he wanted to come back to Kemet, he said he wanted to come back to Kemet, the black land, or to the black. You feel me? The black one, the black land, the black city situation. But I'm just making this distinction here for a purpose in this video. Now, when Sinrosek got back at him, he told him, all right, you could come and you can go to where? The name that they was using for the interior of Egypt, this is in context, we could find it in the primary. The name that they was using for Egypt prior to Kemet, which was in opposition to Taseti, which was Khenu, the interior. All right? And so we learn a lot by just looking at that text and then comparing it with the stories we learned from the eloquent peasant who lived inside what we would call the borders of Egypt. But this is why you know they messing up. Because he lived in the quote unquote borders of Egypt. He paid taxes to the Pharaoh, right? But in his story, he tells his wife, hold up, I gotta go to Kemet. If he inside what we thought Kemet was the whole thing, his wife wouldn't have knew where he was going. That's like me being saying, babe, I gotta go to California. She gonna look and be like, you gotta go to California. We in California. Well, why does that become significant? Because when they put Egypt behind here, that the black land actually represented the whole entire area, we can now show primary attestations that will bring that into question. In that time period, I don't want you to make my things I proclaim anachronisms. I stated the time period, 12th dynasty. You know they wasn't talking about no Egypt, so that's out of there. He asked to come back to a particular area in Kemet, the black land, and then when you compare that to the other story, we start to see that the claims that this just mean Egypt. So why does this matter? Because they're slick. And if they could put in parentheses that the black land means Egypt, then when they get to Kemet, they can drop all of the black land stuff and say Kemet means Egyptians. You see? But we got them. Kemet was stated before the 12th dynasty. What does that mean? You can't put a suffix on a term that ain't there. Kemet is supposed to derive from Kemet and put a TU on the end of it, and you supposed to leave off all the blackness, follow the Eurocentric rules, and just say Egyptians. But I'm just showing you this, and I'm using primaries. Now let's go back to what I just showed you if you didn't understand. I said when the eloquent peasant had to, the eloquent farmer, he was a saket, the eloquent saket, I don't want to call him a peasant, right? I can't look at the chat because I don't know what you're talking about, some dazzle-razzle trick while I'm teaching like this. That's lightweight disrespectful, bro. I'm cooking. Unless you're talking about something else. Well, I mean, the people could be really learning from this, so I don't need no real distractions. So I won't look. So, it becomes instrumental, so let me rewind it for you. Salute to you, Brazilian monk. I don't know, man. After a while, dude, you know what I'm saying? When I get that casting pearls energy, I gotta take a break. I'll be right back. Hold on, dog. Golly. I'm about to go just get me a water. Ain't nothing up. I'm just got to get a water. Let me see. But sometimes I mean a voice in my head would be like, bro, why are you even doing this? Just know and just let people be hella wrong. I'll be back. Tune in. Stay tuned. You're going to enjoy this. Hold up. Let me see. It wasn't even there when I clicked the button.
Black people, I love you, and I love you enough to tell you, you ain't ready to revolt shit. You don't feed yourself. You don't hunt your own animals and slaughter them. You don't prepare your own meat. You don't own your own land. You don't have a seed growing in your window. So when you think about revolutionaryism, and you think about fighting and dying in the street, you ain't shit.
Killer Mike said black people ain't ready to revolt. It's a disparaging marriage and he ready to elope. Maritime coastline, deep V hull boat. Crack a nose turned up, machete to your throat. The divine snatched the arm back, she fine, she in Zinga. Moroccan mercenary got a line on Moringa. Ask Chief X to swing it. Go fund me to rock a new car. Or build a school like I'm Dr. Umar. Nah, go fund some more guns, banana clips and cannabis, and bury it, the jackal, Anubis. I'm cool, keep them heaters, and I'm in tie in an abyss. He ain't rapping due to libations, he just channeling this.
Hands down, you ain't ready to oppose nothing. You are as a part of this system as any white person gentrified.
I'm on light. Hovercraft propellers over swamp water. We make the thoughtful think they should have thought harder. Be aware of this. Don't blink, there's only one blunt between the careful and careless. It's hard to face it when you need a shrink or a therapist. Mental disorder ordered them to label you a terrorist. I breathe elements and I found the secret. We could all walk on water if it's ground beneath it. I carry my weapon and keep my trees, and still be Hotep and ask to rig Nasheed. 6 in the morning I greet my seed, then do everything I think I need.
I have to say this because I know our spirit and our emotions get stirred. I'm not against nobody on the panel. I'm with everybody on the panel. I'm not diametrically opposed to anybody. I agree with everything my brother said about revolutionaryism. So let me ask you guys a few questions. We're in the South, we're in the heart of the South right now. Who fishes? Who knows how to fish? Hands down. Who knows how to hunt? Let's hands. Hands down. Hands down. Hands down. Hands down.
Black people, are you ready to revive?
I'm back.
Black people, are you ready to revive?
Guess what? So, I remember when I stepped up and I was on my man, I ain't know why I gotta do this, blah, blah, blah. Boy, I went in the room, grabbed my water, start to roll up, and some said, nah, you gotta do this. Yeah, so I'm back. You feel me? Because a lot of us don't got the time to do it. So I'm going to do it for you. A lot of us ain't got the information to do it, and y'all want to do it. A lot of us ain't articulate. A lot of us don't know what debate even is all about. Let me just break y'all down. Golly. Let's look at the etymology of debate. Debate, to quarrel, dispute, okay. Also to combat, fight, to make war. But let's look at the sense of now archaic right there. That is. It says to discuss, deliberate upon the pros and cons of, from the old French debatteur, originally to fight, from D, down completely, batter, beat. So when y'all want to get debate and y'all get beat down completely, that's what that is. I know how to debate. Beat your ass down completely. Every angle. What you want to do? Y'all reading the screen? From D, down completely. Batter, to beat. Get that ass beat down completely. You want to debate? Just having fun. Well, let's keep it popping with that info. I'm back. So what was dude doing? I don't even know where he was at. Oh, no, I wasn't even playing that. I was explaining something on the black land. You feel me? Shout out to y'all who didn't know that etymology. Now you're going to use that on somebody. Use it on them, man. Knowledge ain't mine, yo. None of this I got is mine. Some of it is my research, but I'm putting the things together for us, but the knowledge ain't mine. You feel me? I don't ever be like, that's mine. The tools ain't mine, nothing. The only thing that's mine is the swag and the uniqueness. We all are individuals. Nobody can present like me. I can't present like nobody else. When I try, my presentations be boozy. You got to smash up on their ass. And you can't smash up. Go and be yourselves. You're going to outdo me. Cats try to step into my battlefield, get hands put on. I'm telling you, like, y'all might just, I'm not talking about, see, when I say hands put on, people who really gangsters think I'm talking about that. No, definitely not. I'm not talking about that. You get hands put on, man, with this information in these books. But everybody really know what it is. No, I'm being just too humble. Anyway, let's go. Kemet, this is a jar. I guess that jar was black, huh? It probably was. Kemet, black arable land. Now we come down to what now that we understand how Egyptian grammar works a little bit, because we looking at we ain't looking at no attestations. Don't confuse this. We're looking at dictionary entries. And right here are the dictionary entries. You won't be able to corroborate the dictionary entry until you actually look at an attestation. So that's why we look at philology. Like, you can look at where they got Kemet right here on the line in the text and be like, how could that mean black cattle? And then you will be able to form a contention. But in a dictionary, we aren't qualified to do that. We ain't got no place to say, how could it do this? You see what I'm saying? So that's why you got to look over the text and context. So with that being said, we discussed the arrival of black Kemet. They often try to go to complete, final, and account. But even with complete, final, and account, we just see a KMT. And whatever that thought was, it's only indicated by the papyrus roll, which would give us a some type of, I always say, intangible thought. Something that is intangible. All right, let me try to do my fake scholastic for a minute. Nah, forget that. Sorry, we back, we cooking. So, I don't know what this Kemet was right here. Now we got Kemet the jar. We got Kemet, a metal implement. Well, I want you to see the Kemets, again, focus on the Kemets that represent two things and understand that both of those things are indicated. I mean, well, one, it represents the color of the thing, and secondarily, the determinative lets us know what that thing is. But you don't say the thing. You simply say Kemet. Kemet is black cattle, all right? I don't know what, I mean, now, but now when you get to Egyptians, see how they switch that? They take the black out. Now you don't do the same thing. Again, this is Nisba formed off of this, so they got plenty of reasons to say that that's the case, why that's the case. But all of those are contestable. Now let's look at this. And this is the question to arise. Now that you know about the black cattle, the black leather, let's look at the word that some claims it ain't a word, Kemet, for the pupil of the eye. And shout out to Jay Mill, because he was just at EdFu and hit us in the chat. Like, what pictures you need? Family, arrows up. And I had to stop in the middle of the show and say, oh man, hold on, you standing on the soil as we speak. He said I'll be in EdFu in an hour or two. So, and if he would be so kind when he gets back, we will be looking at these Kemets from EdFu. Because we got different skill sets and we put them together and we form a wonderful conglomerate, Magi archers. Look at this Kemet. For the pupil of the eye. See, you gotta be dumb for somebody to say for somebody to let you out-scholar you that way. When they say something like, there is no word Kemet for the pupil of the eye. And so let me show you how they out-scholaring you. And this is how Jay Mills supported that contention. That's why I like banging with my homies, because he said, well, if you look up pupil, you ain't gonna get a Kemet, right? In a dictionary. This is Vigus, digital Faulkner. So everything you find in Faulkner, you normally find it here. So I don't want people to be like acting like this some juked it online dictionary we be using. But they ain't even giving me heck of pupil. So what's going on right here? Something's happening. I mean, my Adobe be hella weak. I don't even see the click button. So let me try something else. I'm gonna say I know some. All right, maybe they want me to do this. Click that. There you go. So as we go through these words, you see all of these words for the pupil of the eye that aren't going to be a Kim word. But look, see, this is actually, so someone's saying this dictionary entry is actually wrong, right? I thought this dictionary would work in their interest, but it appears even Faulkner says that there is a Kemet for the black part of the eye. Now notice how this is working just like black cattle and black leather bag. You don't say the cattle, you don't say the leather bag. We must only infer, it must be implied that if we don't, there's no way we can say, well, you could say determinatives, but they never wrote them. So maybe they just said it when they had to say it, because a person wouldn't know whether you were talking about Kemet, the land of the blacks, or Kemet, a black leather bag, or Kemet, a black part of the eye, if you didn't say something, have some type of inflection on your diction or something. But what we learned is to say these two things, you don't have to say two things. You simply start. So it's like saying, again, I always use this instance, and I also have always referenced to Sandro Capo-Chichi when I say, it's like when we say, go get some greens. It's the same thing. We took a color adjective, turned it into a noun, and made it represent multiple things of that color category. Greens could be lettuce, cabbage, spinach, If I bring any of those back, you can't be mad. So if the argument that there is no Kemet word for the pupil of the eye, we got to remember Kemet means black. And then when they put an eye, just like we got black cattle, we don't have a black eye like you got fired on because there's no indication of injury. Therefore, we have the black of the eye. Now, if you let somebody convince you that the black of the eye, if there's a word for the black of the eye, that's not a word for the pupil, then so be it. What can I say? I mean, what should I say if you've been that outwitted? But it clearly says black, and it shows us they're talking about the eye, and there's no reference to injury. So there actually is a Kemet. And now in all of these terms I'm displaying, you clearly see Kemet just representing the black part, right? This isn't a feminine word. We all have eyes. Eyes aren't feminine. So the T at the end isn't amended to make the Kim root feminine. Man, my excerpts be going for 30 minutes. We have stopped in the middle of a dude talking. Hold on. Because he was cooking y'all the best. But then you see how when we got down to Egyptians, everything changed. They left the black part out. Why ain't nothing about black here then? If the root has something about black, why is this the only one? Now, you know, this is another thing about ancient Egyptian grammar. This is an anomaly. They don't do this with no other terms, as I'm showing y'all. All right, well, show me the one they do that with. That has a black in there. This is the black one. This is the black cattle. This is the black land. They come down to this one. This is Egyptians. Well, there's some difference between those terms, but I looked at those comparisons too, and they seem to be just the same.
I address this letter with a firm...
When you look at other countries, other colors. So now let's hear what he's breaking down that everyone seemed to can't capture.
Black, but also symbolized more profound concepts, such as completeness and supreme majesty of divinity. Attempting to graft modern racial definitions onto this multifaceted term is a distortion of its true historical significance. In actuality, the veneration of the black god Weesir, embodied in the form of Kem, represents a unique and intriguing facet of their religious devotion, a distinction that stands apart from the religious practices of African Americans and one that is barred for...
Let me give y'all a source on that while we're here. Some be like, what are you talking about, Kim embodied as the black god? We right on the page. Kimmy. See, they put the hair there. That's what make them so mad. Because the ancient Egyptians was like, in the future, they gonna lie, yo. So let's put the hair determinative. Guess what the hair determinative lets us know? See, there are other options for what Kim could mean. But if you go out of your way and put the hair determinative, then you is telling people, I want you to know I'm talking about color here. So they wrote Kim, put a Y on it to let you know they talk about a person. Kimmy, that means a black person. In this instance, it means the black one, who is Osiris, our men. But let me show you something. Because we got the sources, we've been cataloging the homework. These cats is dead. Look at this. I love to big screen somebody. It just needs to be worth it. I ain't like that 100-column problem where everybody else getting it from your efforts is dead. If we debating, we cutting, we breaking bread, and we a pay a promoter. You know how I get it in. I'm in the real business. I don't know what y'all doing. I ain't slight nobody, but that's facts. This the internet. Shit, we supposed to 50-50 up all over the place. Like, we don't do enough business together. And so that means that the bickering prevails, and the friends that we want to be, we really can't be, because, like, I could beat you up, but if I'm bringing something to your food, to your table, you going to laugh about getting beat up more because you're going to know it don't mean nothing like that. You feel me? But so that's the underlying thing that's messing up what we doing. That's why we break up so easy. You know what I'm saying? It's because we don't got no underlying foundational economic principle underlying all of this. And people don't think that that's true. Well, that's how come we don't understand. We live in a capitalist society, B. Golly. Like I just said, B. Slang is so, you can say a slang right here, right now that I made up, and it could be said all over the world in a jiffy. Somebody could be listening in Africa, take a slang that you thought it was regional. The world ain't regional no more either. So now we know we reaching millions and millions of people, and I will be damned if I get on the internet saying some of them falsehoods y'all talking about. Ain't nothing, y'all ain't cool enough. So y'all ain't laid an impression on me to make me feel like at this crossroads, I need to go with you. You realize that? Like, I mean, I support people. Yo, if that's what, if the crossroads is the blackness of Kemet, I holla. See y'all in a few years when y'all got less views than y'all got now. Keep going down. You don't look at your own analytics. Go on your YouTube page and look at how your shit was doing when you was saying the right shit about Kemet, and go now. You can look over the years. You don't even do that. You don't use the data for your own self to say, I'm fucking up. Cats like being the villain of the conscious community. Everybody infamous. Cats think fame is cool at any extent. They want to be the villain. Now they went from the ancient Egyptian showing you Kimmy all the way from Wasir the Black God. Here we go up into the Coptic. You read that. You're going to just say came. Fine, say came. We know what we dealing with, the K and the M root, and they helping us figure out what them vowels was in the middle. You feel me? Now they're showing you this adjective can mean black. And you want to know what's really funny? That this plural make me mad because y'all some suckers. This is the Coptic rendition of Kemet to you. I love doing my homework. Do y'all see the Coptic rendition of Kemet to you? See that EI is not giving us the actual EU, but these vowels start to shift and change over time. But they just say black right there, right? Didn't I just show you if we understand the ancient Egyptian language, we could see how that Nisba was formed and it says a black person, and they don't just want to put that, so they put the black one? What the hell is one? One is one person. See, if you know how to use the English language and you want in the discourse or debate, and you opt for pronouns, the safest pronoun is one. If you don't want to offend nobody. That's why they say, one should not go and do boom boom. If I say you should not go, it's going to be more abrasive and offensive. So they still talking about a human when they say the black one. We all know that. But actually in that instance, they're talking about Wasir the God. But let's be clear. I'm in the Coptic dictionary here, and we don't want to espouse no anachronisms, right? So look, y'all see this kama, and I see that as a kama-yi. Kama-yu or something like that. But I think it arrived from the Kemet to you because the Kemet, but that sound arrives when you lose a T, and I don't know, but it says plural for Kim, which is what they say is black. How could you have black in plural? You want to know how you can have black in plural? Scroll to the other side of the page. You see in Sahidic, Baharic, and Phaomic, it's a nominal noun, masculine and feminine, can use to say what? Godly.
When a nigga get to going in, niggas get to feeling some kind of way. They gonna get to feeling some kind of way.
I know, Seti. I ain't tripping. They been showing they feel some kind of way.
When a nigga get to going in, niggas get to feeling some kind of way. They gonna get to feeling some kind of way.
I know. I said, bruh, now they saying, shout out to dude. Hey, look, black person or thing, dude. You can't make this up. Y'all must think I went to a different dictionary entry, huh? Golly. So, Kimmy was a black person or thing in ancient times, and it is in the Coptic language. What's the problem with y'all? Look, man, I put y'all back on the team, but y'all coming back in on the lower ranks. Now, here go your terms. You're gonna start to learn Medu Netra. You guys who've been flip-flopping all around, who I do not want to slaughter. Those of you who know you will be spared harshly. The rest of y'all, who want to debate about D? I know I didn't hear. See, this is the problem. Bobby Banger, no, he good. Do not parrot Bobby Banger when he in error, because you going to get fried. That's what I'm waiting for. I've been waiting for a Bobby Banger parrot so that work can get what it needs. And we got one. Garfield. Now, to keep it a buck, if you listen to anything Garfield ever try to say in debate and stuff, all he do is parrot old Armor Rock Squad catchphrases. Methodology. Everything Bobby Banger say, right on Garfield's show. Cut it out. See, that's the problem that underlings don't be knowing. Bosses meet on different terms than you meet on. So it'll be the conversation always be different. Like when I was even having beef in Oakland when we was doing that battle in the 90s. It was people getting socked up left and right. Me and Sophia was talking. Kept communication. Like what these niggas doing. They fighting every time they see each other. And cats don't know that. And I'm like, oh, for real? Okay. Well, it's the same thing going on. A lot of underlings get killed when they think they putting on and they gonna gain some stripes from somebody. They don't go down like that. They don't wind up like that. It's certain shit that certain relationships you ain't gonna break. With none of that bullshit. You can suck up as much as you want. Motherfucker respect real niggas. Niggas don't respect that shit. If you go to war, you want one of them old flimsy. I don't want no yes men around. Need a motherfucker going to instill confidence that we gonna win this shit. You want these pussyfoot YouTube niggas around you if it go down? Yes or no?
For anyone living under the auspices of the such as completeness and supreme majesty of divinity. Attempting to graft modern racial definitions onto this multifaceted term is a distortion of its true historical significance. In actuality, the veneration of the black god Weesir, embodied in the form of Kem, represents a unique and intriguing facet of their religious devotion, a distinction that stands apart from the religious practices of African Americans.
I want every debate.
One that is
I want
barred
them
for
all.
anyone
I'ma
living
stop
under the
sparing you
auspices
niggas. Hold
of this
on.
Euro.
Stop sparing you niggas. I want every debate, every subject. Garfield, you said you want to debate. Diop was wrong at the UNESCO symposium. Set it up. Get humiliated again. I mean, that's not even fun. You do be needing to be spared because Jabari be doing you so crazy. It'd be crazy. That's why I be saying I don't want to debate because I want to fight somebody who could get it in, man. The way he be doing you, I'll be like, God damn.
European social construct. On the other hand, Osiris, the god of the afterlife and resurrection, was often depicted with black skin. This unique representation of a black deity offers a profound contrast to the religious traditions of African Americans, whose spiritual beliefs require.
We need winners and judges. None of this fake shit. Clean up this whole stuff. Cats don't care about the debate. They just get in the bag. Don't nobody ever know who won anyway. Give a fuck. I won. All that, I'm cool.
Unique representation of a black deity offers a profound contrast to the religious traditions of African Americans, whose spiritual beliefs require no mandate for its chief deity to reflect their effigy. Ancient Egyptians developed many religious practices and beliefs. This led them to forming their own cosmogonies, which fostered a unique form of anthropological thinking. The question arose, NM Irie MMRMT, who made man? In one ancient Egyptian creation story, Khnum made man on the potter's wheel. Interestingly enough, Khnum was the god of the cataract and the god of the Nile silt. Prior to Hapi, Khnum was seen as the god of the source of the Nile. The source of the Nile River is Lake Victoria, located in East Africa. Lake Victoria is the largest lake in Africa and is shared by 3 East African countries, Uganda, Kenya, and Tanzania. The Nile River flows northward from Lake Victoria and eventually splits into 2 main tributaries, the White Nile and the Blue Nile, in northern Sudan. The black silt that enriches the Nile River's floodplain is brought in by the annual inundation. These black silt deposits created an alluvial floodplain that ancient Egyptians called Kemet, the Black Land. Linguistically, with respect to the canons of Egyptian grammar, the term KMT may be composed of the root term KM black, with a feminine or topographical T amendment to it in suffix, rendering KMT Kemet. The category of the term is indicated by its O49 determinative, which denotes a polity or a city situation. The KM root represents blackness. KMT may arrive as another way to say black, with T as part of the root term, as in KMT black cattle or KMT black leather. Both of these terms classify items with determinative, and they use KMT to label the entire item by its physical appearance. In the case of the masculine black bull, there's no reason to believe the T in KMT is a gender-signifying suffix amendment.
It's just the infantry. You know how Magi set up, Reg? The infantry come through putting it down after that first barrage of arrows. hit them over the top. Infantry come through putting them down. Then them archers light the fire arrows. Light the fire arrow, Reggie. Light the fire arrow. You got it. Black Egypt. It's Kemet. Whatever they want to call it. We having fun today. I know, Haskell. Why would they say Diop lost that? I mean, that's the easiest damn debate to take. The people at the debate was like, damn, y'all didn't bring no homework to debate these boys? Out of all of the scholars who, I went over this. So I'm ready to debate it. Nonsense.
Both of these terms classify items with determinative, and they use KMT to label the entire item by its physical appearance. In the case of the masculine black bull, there's no reason to believe the TE in KMT is a gender-signifying suffix amended to the KM root. This is confirmation that KM means black, and KMT can be used for black items of any category. With respect to the alluvial floodplain of the Nile, Egypt was just called black. The definite article, the, was not employed in this term. The category for this blackness was 049, city, crossroads, towns. This is how scholars conclude KMT means the black land, but no morpheme in the term KMT represent the idea of the or land. It was the black alluvial soil that Khnum made the gods out of. The god Wisir, Osiris, is often depicted as black and is even called KMI. Kemi is a nisba formed on the root term KM to say black one. Osiris was the black one. Kemi is also the name of Egypt in Coptic. Khnum formed man from the alluvial black silt deposits on the Nile. With black clay, you can only mold a black man similar to Yahweh of the Hebrew tradition and lexicon, forming Adam, man, out of Adamat, red clay. Both of these terms are based on the Semitic root dm for blood. The tapestry weaving Adam, Adamat, and Dam together is redness. Adam being the Semitic red man, adamant being the red clay he was made from, and Dam being the red blood that runs through his veins. Likewise, in Egypt, Kem represents a black person, made from Kemet Amet, black soil, and instead of his blood being black, the Kemetic correlation is with the blackness of divinity, represented by magnitudes of melanin. If Khnum made man from black silt, he made a black man just like Yahweh used red clay to make Semites. Certainly.
Conclusion.
Yeah, hold on.
Evidence we can present for the elements that might...
Is that wrong? If Khnum, if they was tripping off the black silk so much to name their whole place after that, and then they say Khnum made man out of that, cut it out. Cut it out. Now, this is why I get cut off so much. Because they ain't got no answers to this. Adam, and Adamat do the same thing. Kim, well, not the same, but, ideologically in their theology, it does the same thing. And that's coming from Capo Chichi, who also put a source up on other scholars who broke that down. So what could they possibly do? Just talk shit. You know what I'm saying? You ain't got no facts. Ain't nothing on the screen. Y'all ain't listening to nothing. It's going to be... Nah, we need to hit him with the wiki shut up. Yeah, there you go. We need a wiki shut up. You earned you a wiki shut up today. See? Mm-hmm. Don't let your ego get the best of you, man. You're lost. Switch the subject. Put up a hot video on another topic. Take that L. Illustrations. And I'll be giving too many suckers light. Giving them suckers no light. Say nothing on my platform. Shut up. Go live. Tired of these fools. Lying on Egypt. Now, when we come to this term, here goes some more of the grammatical checkmates. That your best gotta fall off YouTube when you get to going in like this. You wanna know why?
When a nigga get to going in, niggas get to feeling some kind of way. They gonna get to feeling some kind of way.
All right, I know, Seti. I know. That's why I got that. And I know. When I get to going in, they definitely get to feeling some kind of way because they wrong than a thong. And why I'm not going to stand in error on YouTube for hundreds of years to remain after this. Cut it out. You see a color here, just share. Just like we had to explain the other day, some of the distinction between the red and the black too. Obviously, in your family, you're not saying that Happy the Red is the evil one. In a family connotation, it'll be more towards the color. 1-800 fed up with the bush. Feel me? In your family connotation, if you say black Jody, and you got another Jody, and you say Jody Red, which Jody you think is dark skin? I mean, which one you think is darker? Which one you think is lighter? Like, we don't even have to say this simple stuff. They was Happy the Black and Happy the Red. But everybody else was the black. So that lets you know first, they is talking about color. Because if they wasn't, then one of their brothers wasn't divine, majestic, and all of these other things, and he wasn't going to regenerate, and he wasn't fertile. He was red and angry. Think they were saying that about their brother? That they wrote into stone? Nah, they wasn't saying that. Actually, the scholars tell you that, but people say, I don't read. Then how I know the scholars tell you that? Who was it? Albert Blackman said it in his footnotes that in Arab traditions today, they still might use colors to distinguish between lighter, darker members of the family. And they would use these two particular colors, black and red. I got the source. Don't make me find it. Please don't challenge that. I don't want to look for that all day. Beat y'all up with that at the third. So now you see this on the screen is just the dismantlation. I made that up, Bay Area. This is the dismantlation right here. All right? It's a presentation that's going to dismantle all that nonsense. No Egyptologist, nobody. Go get them. Go, please. Why y'all ain't got them? Get the best. I'm talking too much public. Y'all know in my real, modest, and humble life, I don't boast. I don't do the Goliath. So ain't no David amongst y'all. Because that shit fake. Try it. Magi archers in the building, and we reign supreme. The best ones y'all thought was going to knock me down ran. About this knowledge and information. Ran. Pussyfooted up out of there. I don't even get it. Totally had menticide. To the point you don't even like YouTube no more. Now you're not even building no type of enterprise to even build to come into your family because Smash dissed you. Y'all be acting like, you heed the bait. Shut that fake. What? Cut it out. Everybody come up, get fried. Everybody come against Black Egypt, get fried. They try to hide behind DNA. We make them fall off the screen. I don't even do DNA. I'm just a researcher. And I see error. Told them to respect game or expect flames. Get right, get left. Pick and choose. Win or lose. This that screenshot. Go on and take that screenshot. Y'all want to kill him forever, man. This Archer's up. We ain't tripping. This straight off the TLA. You got the source material right there. Look, bow. That's the coffin text. Coffin text is telling you. So do the work. Go get that Meeks work. Think that was a woman, Meeks. I hope I'm correct on that. Meeks AL. Go get that work. Every one of these Jashares. Why red don't gotta follow the rules black gotta follow? Why black ain't allowed the license that red got in the grammar? You notice that this ain't even never one from the desert? Just share. Let's go into the grammar and we do it. We simplify things and we keep it popping because we got a mixture of all the elements. Ain't that right? That's right. That's right. That's right. All right. That's right. Don't let me get comfortable. Got slapped. I ain't really slapped. I'm just pressing two fingers on the beat machine. Two loops I got lined up. Here go the third one. Ain't nothing original about what you're hearing. I'm just pressing buttons. Feel me? That's because this is just up here on my...
Why don't you back it up with a source?
My source is that I made it the fuck up.
That's exactly how they get it in. You ask them.
That's a nice argument. Why don't you back it up with a source?
Guess what they're going to say?
My source is that I made it the fuck up.
They made it up, family member. But I didn't make any of this up, so let's get back to the knowledge. Jasherty. Who is red? Angry Seth. So Angry Seth is in parentheses. We ought to always trip off that. They're telling us it's like, who is red? And they saying by red here, they mean angry. Okay? So what did we get out of this? What just happened grammatically? Well, we just share the color. And since we can find a rendition of just share with a T on it, we got just share T, just a rep. We also have we look as a J, which is representative of I'm just going to say it's representative of a I, or a reed leaf. Because we know when we put an I at the end of words, we start to form a nisbah to say that this is a human related to that word. We put an I on the end of. American, Americani. I mean, you know, that's a different language, but Sudan, Sudani. You do that in English, so you understand that. Well, for the color red, if you put a T-I, a I, and form a nisbah out of the root word, jasher, it becomes one who is that color. Regardless if the color represents anger. Grammatically, you take the red, ancient Egyptian word for red. Here this lets us know the dot represents the suffix. The suffix T just means that the root here was just jasher. The T could represent femininity, but Seth isn't feminine. So the root here is jesheret. I mean, you'll see what I mean. The root is jasher, but there's a derivative jesheret that they could build on too. And then we have the T here. I mean, the I, the J, which is, let me explain this. I explain it often. There are multiple transliteration schemes for ancient Egyptian. And actually, even in this same source material, different scholars transliterate things differently. Let me show you here. You see there's a Y down here on this word Jasher Fe. Well, this Y and this J represent the same thing somewhat in the glyphs. If it's in, they got it represented a single reed leaf, and a Y here representing a double reed leaf. Nevertheless, if you switch over to manual decodage, which is the transliteration scheme we most often use, this J will then be an I, still representing a single reed leaf. And then in that transliteration scheme, I think a Y still represents double reed leaves. So all this is a German scheme that takes what some would represent as a Y and represent it as a J. And it's in transliteration, it goes back to what was a single reed leaf. You take that reed leaf and put it on the end of the word, it changes it into a person, even if it's double reed leaves. Not always double reed leaves, but always single reed leaves. But I can show you instances when double reed leaves don't indicate duality as they do often when you find them in suffix. So here, right here, is changing the word that's a color into a person. So they translate who is red. Now this person ain't a human entity, but he still is a entity. You feel what I mean? And so it says, who is red? Now, yeah, exactly, Jackson, thank you. Now this Jasher T, MT, ME, Hoot F. I guess this is Anesi. We see they said Jasher T, which is the same word here. Now they're calling it a red man. Okay. Well, this is easy to follow because we're going to look at Kemet T. All we're going to do is change the root. All right. And now we look at the grammar of the sentence. They did this so cleverly that they always want to really let you know that, nah, bro, we talking about the red. Don't go about nothing else. Because they use the term INS, Nessie, which is actually a red type of a linen. So they do this often. What they do is, it's like wordplay. But he ain't saying red twice, but he's saying red twice. As you see, they tell you, look, red man in the house of red linen, from that coffin text right there, be your source. All right. Again, the entity they're talking about is still Sutet, I believe, from my prior research. Okay. But what we're talking about here is how the grammar works. So you see his house, we got the Hoot F. Now, it really don't even say made of. I mean, unless they're taking this Emmy, this E, which ain't gonna be, this is like, this is in front of, like, I mean, in command of, in charge of, he who is in, Emmy. So the man is in his, it is he who is in, this IMI. So the red man who is in his house of red linen. Red man in his house made of red linen. Again, this is different grammar structure, but you notice it's consistent. Every time we see just share T, it's a red person, it's a red man. Just share T, red man. Now let's look at this instance that me and Brother Reggie got to go over. Just share TU, blood victims. So one thing I'll point out before we go in on it is if you look at this, the only difference between just share TU and just share T is the W. Okay? That W is a W of plurality. It forms these three consonants together, they indicate something by themselves. And the reason why she had to say bloody victims here, because we looked at the text, the reason why she chose bloody victims is first how the text was transpiring, but secondly, we all understand that normally when we see a T, a J, and a W in that order, in suffix, it's a group of people. But here, this is called, obviously they formed a nisbah for a group off of the Jasher root, right? So look, what the scholar had to conclude that these are some people, but the situation that we're going through in the text was gruesome. They were victims. Victims are people, if you think about it. In your life, you've never called anything else a victim. You never said, well, you might have said he was a victim of, I don't know how you would say that about a bear being a victim of I don't know. So these are humans, by the way, aside from my analogy. Bloody is extracted. Remember how we just said in the Semitic tradition, we have Adam being the first man who was molded from the red clay called Adamat, who was given life and then blood flowed through his veins, which was Dam. So the root connecting those is the D and the M. You feel me? Adam, Adamat, Dam. The root is the blood, which is red. We have this something similar here, and this is something we need to note. It occurs with Jasher, which represents the red land. And if you want to know what's up, somebody was like, oh, so black is good and just red? Yes, black is good and red is bad. As you see, all of these that they're calling red is the Netcher Sutek, who in the time period of the attestations on the screen was not a good Netcher. So in this just shared TU, which is a term which is basically could be equated to the term madjai.shop argued with in 1974 at the Cairo Symposium, Kemet TU. You see? Just share TU. Kemet TU. If we stop saying TU, we got just share and Kim or Kemet. All right? So grammatically, the same functions, the same rules of grammar should apply. When we go to Kemet TU, let's just make them blood victims. Let's just see what I'm saying. Let's say in that instance, the TU is only representing victims because that's a category of people. All right, remember the determinatives depict categories. I can't see the determinative here, but you can see why she came with victims out of TU. Now, when we go to bloody, just share is also a word for blood. Just like in the Semitic tradition, we got Dam equated to Adamat, the red land. Here we got Jasher, blood, and then it's equated to Jesheret, the red land. So now I know y'all tripping. Because what the red people said they formed themselves out of, Egyptians had an option to have that story. Egyptians could have been like, Khnum formed man out of the red clay. Because we write ourselves with a reddish hue. They had that option. The story fake. So if the story fake, Khnum didn't make no damn man on no potter's wheel. So then why the person who conceived of the story was not persuaded by no tales of no Semitic tradition where man was made out of the red clay, but he possibly was influenced by what he seen around him and thought that man was made out of the black suit. I got this page up for a long time for a reason, because it's one of them ones. Now, these guys are bloody grammatically, not because of anything I just said about the Adam stories. They were bloody because they was victims, right? But look at what the scholar did when forming this. I mean, she didn't form it. She tried to decode what the Nisbah that was formed by an ancient Egyptian. She looked at Jasher and went over her options. Because she know TU got to be related to something that's at the root, okay? She passed up people of the Red Land. You notice that? Bro, we could go into the TLA and none of these just shared TUs will come back to people of the Red Land. So what that mean? What that mean? That if they're always saying a red person, bloody victims, then when we go to Kemet to you and all the Kim words, we should follow the same rules. But we don't. Here, remember we was looking at just share to you? Blood victims. So that Nisbah was supposedly formed off of the root, the color, or the definition in the root of Jasher, which means red that goes back to blood. When we come to the black term, they say this Nisbah must have been formed differently. And we still see the TU represented by the Ians here now. And one term for Egypt is supposed to be represented by the Kim, or the Kemet. The T can serve dual functions here. So what they do here, and consistently and problematically, is divorce the root of blackness from any term that got to do with Kim, Kemet to you, or the things that are like or the such. Why ain't that found no contention, bro? If that ain't found no contention, I guess it got to be written, some of this writing got to be put into the proper format and peer reviewed, huh? All right, let me see. Uh-oh. People pertaining to the black land. Yeah. But they don't even say that, Chris. They always leave that out. And that would be the second stage of the argument. But I'm just pointing out how they don't even go as far as what you put right there, Chris. They always just say Egyptians. And as we pointed out, Chris, that actually don't work if you try to use Kemet in the time of Sinuhe. Because Sinuhe, I know you was probably saying true to my previous statement. Because Sinuhe lived in Egypt. So what the question would be then for the scholar, would he have been a Kemet or not? Living in the desert. But they say it mean Egyptians, everybody. The question would be, would Sinuhe in the story of the elegant pheasant have been would he have been what you call it? All right, I talk my talk. Now it's time for y'all to shoot back. I know some people locked and loaded looking through the bushes with their scope. It's all good. Hold on. Let me see. See if I can share this link. Y'all to shoot back. All right, here you go. Shout out to y'all. Keep your good spirits of warrior scholarship on. Because if they want to learn the other way, they just enroll in school. Facts. They be like, man, enough of this, man. I'm going to school. I'm tired of him playing hip-hop beats in the middle of the show. Hit the link, though. You think you spaghetti? Throw it at the wall. Hit the link, man. Yeah, Canoe making the man out of the black soil. That's such a checkmate. Oh, it's such a checkmate. And then having another tradition to compare that to is really a checkmate. But if y'all feel like building, feel free to hit the link. You know, start no fire, won't be no smoke. Well, if you come in with that nonsense, I ain't even tripping off you today. Go on and get it. Go on and do it to yourself. Do it to yourself, man. I'll be just sitting right here and like, who gonna do it to themselves today? I guess this is the part where we gotta play some slap. There's somebody heart beating, wondering if they're gonna click the link or not. Don't let your heart beat. Don't get your blood pressure up. Calm down. Woo-saw. Woo-saw. And while you're at it, you can learn some more of this good information. Look.
Conclusion. Evidence we can present for the elements that might be of use for detecting creolization in the archaeological record of the First Cataract region can be summarized as follows.
Creolization is just like, cultural entanglement, a different word for that.
Follows. 1. Because of the scanty data available for the 5th millennium BC in the First Cataract region, as well as in southern Upper Egypt generally, not much can be said. It is notable, however, that evidence present in this region prior to Nakada IC is always related.
Hey, Reggie, if you're out there when you're going live, man, I need to see you tonight. Don't get beat up.
In this region prior to Nakada IC is always related to the Nubian tradition, the same tradition shared by the Badarian and Tassian cultures of Middle Egypt, meaning that at that time there was not a clear distinction between two different groups, and that probably a cultural boundary was located further north between Tassa Badari and Fayum Merimda.
You hear that?
2. In the same region, the bulk of the archaeological record dating to the 4th millennium is related to the Nakada culture, but a small Nubian component is always present in many aspects of the material culture, such as pottery and lithic.
You know she not, I hope y'all know she just digging in the ground. Y'all know that, right? She giving the results of digging in the ground. She ain't talking about how the Nubians was more important. She giving you the results of what she find in the data. Why cats don't understand that? Y'all gonna vilify her. Oh, no, nobody vilify her because she top scholar. She all in the Oxford Handbook of Nubia.
Bulk of the archaeological record dating to the 4th millennium is
Maria Gatto.
related to the Nakada culture, but a small Nubian component is always present in many aspects of the material culture, such as pottery and lithics. It is notable that the Nubian pottery is a local production. 3. In the ritual sphere, elements from both cultural entities might also be present, and this is visible not only at Kaswan, but also on Elephantine Island in the Satet Temple, Drya 1986. 4. There are some hybrid elements such as the milled rim on red polished Nakada bowls. 5. In the First Cataract region
That's
and
what they're
southern
gonna
Upper
say,
Egypt,
Haskell.
there are regionally distinctive elements such as animal burials in the human cemeteries, Flores 2003, and the great amount of shale-tempered vessels. There can be little doubt that the interaction between Egyptians and Nubians in their borderland created a new cultural entity, but how best to characterize this is still far from being understood.
The distinction between an Egyptian and a Nubian.
Black Egypt has a good king at the moment. We should rejoice. They have no one.
Identity is something connected to the rise of the Nakada culture in the first half of the 4th millennium BCE.
Nope. They're going to act like they didn't know she said Nubian. Rewind it. She just dissed you.
The distinction between an Egyptian and a Nubian identity is something connected to the rise of the Nakada culture in the first half of the 4th millennium BCE. During the previous millennium, such a distinction would have not made sense. As previously stated, the Tarifian, Badarian, and Tazian cultures of Middle and Upper Egypt have strong ties with the Nubian Nilotic pastoral tradition, as can be inferred, for instance, by the very similar pottery, economy, and settlement pattern, and by the latest findings in the deserts surrounding.
Maria Gatto ain't even American. If you Google where she lived, it probably ain't even no black people there. Real talk. We could do it right now. You're going to be laughing.
The Egyptian Nile Valley. Gatto, 2011b, 2012a, b.
Well, I don't know if
2013.
she's American or not. She wasn't living
The creation
there,
of the Egyptian identity was instrumental for justifying political power and had as a consequence the creation of the ancient Egyptian concept of duality. Egypt in opposition to the others, which in a boundary region such as that of the Nile First Cataract would have been strongly and consistently challenged, particularly during a period of important socio-political changes as the pre-dynastic. The earliest evidence of the Nakada culture, phases IA and IB, comes from the area of Abydos, and from there it moved first south and then north, south of Nakada and down till the Dhaka Sayala region of Lower Nubia. The earliest.
Y'all lucky. I'm telling you, we're gonna let that go though. Look at this. Because we often talk about who built the pyramids. It gets ugly. Now, I always use the data correctly. I try to at least. I could be in error at many times, and I'm open for corrections. But yo, one thing I want y'all to see here is Menkaura had a 2,000-man crew, all right, and building his bin. Y'all keep going to Mur, y'all got to do y'all homework. In building his bin, bin is just at the top, but you got to talk about it. We'll talk all the way about it. It's a mound to descend to the afterlife on the rays of Ra. And with his 2,000-man crew, we learned a few things. First of all, let's cut right to the chase. We can go to the 200 men in the file called Asiatics. Now, a simpleton may take that information and misuse it and weaponize it and don't know what he's up against. What we have is, during the building of the pyramids here, proclamation of some people called Asiatics on the working team. 200 under the Upper Gang and 200, they both, and the laborers, 200 on the laborers. 400 Asiatics helping to build this pyramid out of 2,000 men. Source on this, Peter Manuelian, Harvard University. All right. Now, they gonna think, first of all, you see where the pyramids was at. Right? We see where the technology went. If you wanted to trace who knew how to do this, you can't trace the technology of pyramid building into the Mediterranean. Nevertheless, one would be lightweight if they tried to mineralize how early the occurrence of some of these people that have labeled here as Asiatic was in Egypt. But hold up, though. Because we be on YouTube teaching that the ancient Egyptians consisted of these people who migrated in at an early period of time, like the one cited here. Some will go back to time periods before this, they even looked different than anybody. And so they came back in looking just the same, so how that make a difference? But what we do see is that in the earliest times, these people been identified as different. How you gonna say they got a label on people coming from all directions? And we analyze these labels philosophically. We look all day over the text. Last week, we compared all directions. South, Nehesi. East, Aam. West, Timahu. And what do we find? And so now, if you really want to know, you probably don't want to believe it, but when I'm looking up here, and I can show you, I learned it from this course, is because they got paid in beer, bro. They got paid in wine and beer. I could be wrong here, but I'm gonna pull it up, right? Somebody asked what the appear mean. Now, appear, if we come here to the text corpus and click lemma, we're going to change that A to a, in this one, we'll change it to a J, a P, and an R. And we went over this in another text, and because of what they taught me in this course, let's see if we can find it. I'm just going to put wine, right, instead of toying with the transliteration. Wine, right? I could be wrong, but let's see. Now, we'll find that up here. And let me show you. Because there's one text concerning these pyramids where they actually misspelled the word for wine. It's an ancient Egyptian text that they used to teach in the institution about, here we go. Now, no, I said it wrong. All right, I got it the opposite way. I actually did the mistake that the ancient Egyptian did. Look, you're gonna be able to see. So the text that they taught, this is funny. The text that they taught us from was a text where the ancient Egyptians spelled this word wrong. Now notice here we got a J, a R, and a P. And when he spelled the word wrong, he put JPR, which would appear like the appear word we're looking up. So instead of learning from his mistake, I literally committed it. But I know it, so I just corrected myself right now. But yeah, so the appear don't mean nothing about his wine game. And so now if I go through my memory for appear, I don't know. So somebody in the chat can put it up, and let's try to look it up real quick while we're doing our homework. Because all of this is the fun parts of the show. Let me see. And if when I get on, be like, oh man. So they got that with an A though. Yeah, there they go right there. Look, that's his crew. So it's say Remech Appear. I just popped that up. Right? Yeah, there you go. The share. You should have took that back, that no such word. Oh, you probably later in the video give you some credit. So we see this on the text, but they forming that appear from this. We got Remech Appear. Men in the crew. All right. So if we just find appear by itself, we probably know it's the crew because, and that's why they say gang here. Again, this is Peter Manuelian. Appear, he ain't saying the appear gang, he's saying appear hyphen gang. As we see, but you see the appearu or whatever. Shout out to Chris for clicking the link. Let me share the Let me share this. Peace to you. What's up with it?
What up, Smash? Peace. Hold on, say me mute internet here.
It's all good. Okay, yeah. Yeah, so I thought it was the word for wine, but I made the mistake that they tried to. I'm gonna pull up that text where they actually spell it wrong, and they was teaching us about looking at some of these words incorrectly, like I just did. And so right here, appear just simply means the crew or his people. And then we see Min Ka U Ra. So that's Min Ka Ra's crew. What'd you see? What'd you see there?
Yeah, the word smiru or smir means like chosen or friend, not chosen, friends, companions.
Friends, yeah.
Yeah, friends. Yeah, friends.
Yeah. But notice how he distinguished between these is like his friends, whatever, and these is, well, I see the Apiru, but I see what
laborers.
Yeah.
Tehu.
So what's that you got for laborers?
Tehu can also mean drunkards or like vagabonds too.
Yeah, that's why I was thinking it was about wine a little bit. But again, the point I was pointing out as far as when we go back, as far as we could go, they have people coming from directions identified. And it's not like, I mean, how if basically, if I know who bringing, I'm just being facetious kind of or whatever. I might not use the right word. But if I identify you as a person, then I know that DNA is coming in with you. Not like they was doing that, obviously. But you see what I'm saying? So if I identify myself as separate than someone, then I wouldn't think that I was saying that these modern people say that people who came from this direction were actually, I mean, I'm showing in the instance that, yeah, they cooperated, right, as laborers in this instance. But let's be not confused as the magnitude that these people are represented as supposed to be everybody in this group. Remember? Because they like, oh, well, the people mixed up and all this. But if they indicating that, okay, well, here, nah, just and the same would work for Nehesi, as I always say. When they point out who Nehesi is, then that's who Nehesi was. Then the people who pointing out that they was Nehesi obviously wasn't Southern Egyptians or either from tribes south more than that. But what would you think about what I was saying?
No, that doesn't make sense. That makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, and so it's not nothing like it's not like I didn't hit the horn, no bombs on this and nothing, but I feel like this is just something good for us to look like at the earliest periods. We can even go back earlier than this. They already had everybody identified, and then when we talk about our misunderstanding of multiculturalism and how we confuse multi ethnicity with multiculturalism, because America is a multicultural and multi-ethnic melting pot. But let's give the example of America, and then let's give the example of maybe a place that is steep on tradition in Saudi Arabia, like one of the most fundamental Islamic places where we know they don't really espouse too much multiculturalism. If you come in with your American culture and you think you hot and you walking down the street, you get popped. You know what I'm saying? And it sound funny, but they doing it over culture, right? Because they are a monolithic culture, or they're monocultural. You know what I'm saying? And now, exactly. And so we have to understand that we forecast or we presuppose that Egypt went in the same directions, but the text don't tell us that because we find a good book by Langer, Christian Langer, where he wrote on the deportations. And all the people who tried to mob up in there, and it's multicultural. Oh, you could buy Mediterranean food over here. No, only one garb is represented as Egyptian garb, and if they steps outside of that, it's going to the Southern tradition. You see what I'm saying? And likewise with these food elements and the other things, when we look into the text, food and spices and stuff go out of Egypt into the Canaanite areas. And breads and spices and things to make food taste better come from the South. And it be like that. And I got plenty of text to show that. And so the people be like, it's Mediterranean food. But even in their theological tales, they had to migrate to, in the Hebrew tradition, they had to migrate to Egypt for food. Never was nobody acting like Egypt depended on those areas to feed itself. And so I don't know. I'm just talking.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah. I don't know what I'm still trying to figure out what what the argument is, man. I mean, well, I know what the argument is, though. Like, what's the fuss? I mean,
the fuss got pushed into some waters some deep waters for a lot of people that now not for my man brother Bobby Banger, but for his parent Garfield, who has the nerve to say that D.I. lost. Now, first of all, they I could tell you haven't read the documentation because it wasn't even a debate. You don't lose at a symposium. But in order to say Diop lost at the UNESCO symposium is a bold, audacious, arrogant statement, and it actually reveals that you got, especially since it's a statement that you parroting, that I knew you ain't really got to work on that. And when you see the work on it, you're going to feel bad. You there, Sar?
double D. Double D. I see you and Stable Reggie banging these boys up, man. They not ready for y'all. I can't stay long because I'm over here working this damn truck. But I know they better watch their mouth. They saying silly stuff right now. This ancestor watching. It's always been ancestor watching. So I don't know what they watching. I don't know what they talking about. But it said clearly when we pulled out the UNESCO book, the conversations were so uneven in favor of Theophilo Banga and Sheikh Enter Joke. How it's telling me you never read the book.
Yeah, I don't know how you could frame that as a loss. We could do that. We could do some of that right now. How could you even frame that as a loss? Like, again, we all are misrepresented it because that ain't the nature of a symposium. But when looking at the data presented and looking at the conclusions arrived to, and it's so funny that we even got the actual discourse that I don't even know what people be tripping on. But
to say Sheikh Enter Joke loss is like an idiotic statement in itself. In fact, he's so prolific in what he did. You got a Nubiologist now and an Egyptologist, and both have changed their stance on the argument and subject in favor of what him and Theophilo Banga said and did. So it makes no sense. And then the other backwards thing, they've been on the wrong side of this argument forever. Why are you arguing Kemet don't mean black land? Stop arguing that. No Egyptologist in the world agrees with you. None with credentials. Sit down. Your hiney is funky. Wash it.
Well, that's what happened. Then that's why they won't bring on an Egyptologist or no professional who know the field, because none of them will say it don't mean black land. They just say it mean black land because of the soil, and that's where the argument begins. It don't begin at it don't even mean black land. And I would challenge any of those Egyptologists to show me where the definite article "the" is in that phrase, in that statement, and also where what indicates land. Because we stretch it a bit in that instance. How many other 049s do we see? If we do statistics, and I've done it, we could do it right now. It's only like maybe, I don't want to even say no numbers. There's a low percentage of the 049 glyphs which represent a town polity or a city situation or a nome that we call a land. I'm just skipping off that. It's still representative of a polity or a situation, but other ones are determined by the glyphs for a land, actually. You know what I'm saying? The Thai glyph, or the that's what we call a land. But with this one, we just say a land just to add extra words around the fact that it say black.
I think the craziest part is we don't even have to go the route of black. We can just say what we've been saying. Why is it called Taseti? Why are all the pre-dynastic kings Nubian and Libyan? Why are our first stellars in rock art fashion connected? And you know who's on the rock art. So it's futile at this point. It's a silly conversation even to have with those who think they're scholarly, who tend to steal from scholars. You're stealing from scholars' work, claiming it as your own and stuff like that. You can't have conversations with cats like that. You got to get up on the real level. That's Cosby Kid stuff. That's Cosby Kid scholarship right there.
So why I did a presentation about ancient Egyptians, a king. My presentation was called "A King Will Come from the South." And really a lot of things came from the South, and we talk about it. But it's so known in Egyptology and Nubiology that now that's a new contention. That everything didn't come from the South is the new what? Well, okay. No one speaks in absolutes. But are we serious now? Come on now, y'all.
What didn't come from the South? The pottery came from the South. And then they mixed.
Well, a lot of things came from the South.
Yeah.
But I mean, what didn't is, like you said, is the question. Few elements, exterior elements, didn't come from the South.
Yeah. And why wouldn't you want it to come from the South when that's inner Africa? What are you saying when you make a statement? I don't want it to come from the South. It shouldn't have. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I don't know about wanting it to. I don't want the data to do anything. I don't know if they want the data to do something either.
Yeah.
Anybody who wants the data to do something.
They forcing it to, because it clearly shows what it shows. I mean, I've already pointed out on several occasions. You pointed out. I pointed it out, though. If you go look at the cemeteries and you look at the style of the burials, you're going to see them buried in old Nahesi fashion, African fashion. You can't even hide behind some of these scholars because in their forwards, which none of them ever read, they never read this stuff. They just article hunt. If you pull up E.A. Wallace Budge, his work on Osiris, in the very beginning, he says the ancient Egyptian culture's religion looks just like the Congolese.
Oh yeah, we got so much of that.
He got.
I got this
Then he
one
got the book,
document. That, I mean, if I pulled up this document, you're gonna be like, "Why you never put that up?" I mean,
No,
it's so bad. I mean, but it's the person trying to refute hella claims. But I'm gonna show you the claims he trying to refute, bro. You're gonna be like, "Hell no!" But keep going while I look for it.
I'm gonna go sit in this. Or I gotta sit.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I'm driving the damn truck. That's why I ain't been hopping on nothing.
Yeah, I ain't even gonna pull up them pseudo claims though. Cause I deal with the dude who I feel dude refuting them actually. So yeah, you gotta do your thing. Do your thing. I'm still chilling.
Keep banging these boys up. I'm watching.
I mean, that's what we do. I'm gonna do it like this then. Let's go to Dynasty 00, Nakata 2. See? Nakata 3A2. By Francisco Raffaelli, I guess. All right. Now, one reason why this page is really good is because he has a collection of pre-dynastic palettes. All right. He also does very good work on Dynasty 0 and 00. And if we remember that dynasties are families, we can understand how that could be a Dynasty 0 or 00. They just started at one that they should have went back 2 more dynasties. All right. But he will give you all the work on that, and I'm telling you, this is that work. But we want to come here, and now we could go to stone vessels. He got all of it. We'll want to go to palettes to show a lot of things. This is what you can't do in the Mediterranean. This is exactly what you cannot do with any Mesopotamian artifacts. Want me to prove it? Let's have a little bit of fun. So let's start with this motif. They always talk about this knife. And I beat the brakes off that knife. All right. This right here. This motif that we find often called a Mesopotamian motif. Particularly, let's pay attention to the 2 intertwined separpods. Okay? People all over in hella classes gonna tell you this is Mesopotamian. That's what they're gonna do. Then they'll date it to something we'll probably find on this page. Oh, did I do it? Something we might find on this page. Let me see. It was a wiki. Well, what's that knife called? I'll just be letting Google figure out what I'm talking about. They often want to talk about this knife here. All right. Now look. They got this Gebel Iraq knife in Gebel El Iraq. It's an ivory and flint knife dating to Nakata. Let's make sure my audio's all right. Dating to Nakata 2 period of the Egyptian prehistory. They have this dated to 3500, 3200 BC, showing Mesopotamian influence. The knife was purchased in 1914 in Cairo by George Aaron Benedict or whatever for the Louvre. But I'm going to read the rest of that unless y'all want me to. Okay. Where it's now displayed in the Sully Wing room. At the time of the purchase, the knife handle was alleged by the seller to have been found at the site of Gebel El Iraq, but is today believed to come from Abydos. All right. Let's take a look at this knife. And let's look at some of the motifs on this knife. Let's beat the brakes off this knife. Now first, this is very interesting because we got another motif similar to the one that I'm actually detailing, but we have something called, what is this called again? The man with in between the man between two powers or something. In ancient Egypt, it's represented as a man between two powers, but I forgot what they actually call it. This motif. Actually, what I'm looking for is this Mesopotamian. So that's interesting too, because when we be talking about this, it's funny that when we just be talking and don't pull stuff up, people cited this for their source as for the other motif, the Sepharpod motif. But we'll still find it. It was right there. It was the first one I had. As we all see from the wiki, this. All right. And so what I want to try to attempt to show is the development of this motif and the development of this motif on ancient Egyptian palettes. And let's take a look at some of the work of Raphael. Man, let me go back there. And you'll see it and you'll be able to refer to it by going to Dynasty 00 and you'll see his site. You can click palettes and look over all the wonderful palettes that he has. Now, I'm going to go back in time a bit. And we'll go back. And so, I mean, just because I'm going down the page, it don't mean I'm going back. Right? And the dating for each of these palettes we're going to look at will be different, all falling in the pre-dynastic time period, or the majority of them will be falling in the pre-dynastic time period. Let's see if there's a dating on this. And actually, this says something from Erie Dynasty too. So, well, some say the Old Kingdom is Dynasty 1 to 6. Some say it really formed about 3 to 6 or something like that. But that says Second Dynasty. So one of the initial things we'll find, I could go look through a bunch of palettes to find a more appropriate one, an older one to make this known, but we really don't have to. So one thing that we learn is when we find the particular older palettes like this. Now here we go with the battlefield palette, right? Or they say the hunter's palette, excuse me. Right? Hunter, not battlefield. Somebody else called it battlefield. Now, when we come to this palette, what we see in the center is just a circle. What we learn is that these palettes wasn't for archaeology. It wasn't for history. It was decorative. It was what scholars conclude because of the pigments that they find. You can even see them if you, you can't see them. I don't want to misrepresent it. But they find pigment residue inside of the circle of these palettes to let us know that they may have been used for mixing some sort of pigments. All right. But one thing we're going to look at the motifs and the iconography, what we see right here is what? That it ain't no interwoven animals around this motif. And this one is going to go back to the pre-dynastic, but let's see what they say. Pre-dynastic archaic object in the Museum of Brooklyn, but I don't see any particular dating, okay? But all of these is old, and just look at what we'll see. Now, if we start to look at others, when we start to look at other palettes with the same similar circle in the middle, we start to see stuff happen. But if we can find if we put it in a line of development, we can definitely see stuff happen. Here's another very old palette. Let's see what this goes to. It just say prehistoric dynasty in Nubia, but it don't say no date. I don't see a date. Oh, supposedly Nakata 2. Okay, cool. Nakata 3A. Nakata 3A2. That's what I was trying to say. All right. Now let's look at this. Again, they took a different animal. Let's note this. They took a different animal first. I mean, not first. Let's not look in the sense of chronology, because the dating ain't absolute on none of these, even the knife. But we can clearly see right now somebody took an animal and made it form a circle. A minute ago it was just a little ring. Now, what even more to look at is the animals that surround it and what what we see here, like a Heru or a whore on top of a Shrek. But we ain't focusing on that right now. Watch how this go. Now we get to a time period that we won't find evidence of these time periods in Mesopotamian history. This is what you can't do in the Levant. You cannot show the circle that becomes the interwoven necks at a point in history when these separapods were not entangled. Uh-oh, I need a... Us, watching the show, will be very hard pressed to look through, I ain't gonna be absolute, to look through Sumerian, Mesopotamian, Akkadian history and find a motif that can be shown in development like this. So we show when the circle was just a circle. Then we show when the circle was another animal. Now we see they can't be considered separapods yet because, again, I think they're always I don't think it's a separapod when it's not interwoven, but it might still be. These are some long-necked mythical animals without their necks interwoven. Still, we know the intent of the palette was to mix things in the middle. So the artist was just getting funky at this time period. Show me this in Mesopotamia. What we see is development of motifs that will eventually be called Mesopotamian. Now, again, at this point in time, the necks aren't interwoven, and the circle is still being used to form this interwoven thing. To form the palette point. Excuse my being off today. It's the makeup point. You know where they're going to mix the makeup. The circle's still being used for that. All right? I've been stopping drinking coffee, and that ain't cool. And sometimes I'll be like, I ain't quick in the morning like that. Let me see. Now let's go to here. Uh-oh. Now it's getting ugly. They really can't ever do this in the Mesopotamia. Could they? Could they show you the idea of the artist stand when he said, why am I putting this circle in the middle of these two long neck things? Why don't I just make it into one thing? How can I prove that? Well, you looking at the proof. But secondly, he had not thought to make the necks fully intertwined yet. Oh my gosh. Look, if you follow it, they just touch the circle, and then the animal, the sepropod on the left, this is actually his neck on this side, because he's coming up actually entangled with the other one whose neck, look, you can follow the neckline. Okay, let me make it bigger. So this is why we have to scrutinize things. Follow the neckline. And what does the neckline tell us here? See this neckline? That tells us that this animal is going to the right, and the concept of these interwoven separapods is developing. But this artist didn't think to all the way do it yet. He just laid out the prototype.
Smash, you could actually look on the bodies of the ones you're showing, and the ones you showed prior to this, he had the same markings right there by the belly. See those like those little 3 stripes on the belly of the animal? That other one had these same markings. It's almost like it's the same person doing this.
Yeah.
So that's crazy.
Yeah. Now it might
That's
just
how
be
detailed it is. If you looked at the body of the go back to that other one.
Yeah.
Look at those little stripes right up under the first, the front paws. And you will see that it's almost the same. Yeah, see, he doing it right there.
Hold on.
So whoever's doing this,
well, it's an
artistic. They got a stylized way of doing it, but you can see the changing of it from it being separated, like you're showing the maturation of the thought. See, like that. See those little stripes right there, right up under the that front paw.
Yes.
See those stripes? He had just like about 3 or 4 stripes right in front of the front paws of each one of the animals. When you go to that next, you're gonna see those same little stripe marks. Just right there though. So yeah, it's showing that they're gradually getting to what you're saying. Are they dating this?
Yeah, and so we know how this dating work. They give these long time periods. Now on these, they just keep saying pre-dynastic. This says pre-dynastic archaic, but on some of them, he actually was able to give the
They'll
carbon.
go into a later date.
Yeah, the carbon date. But I mean, pre-dynastic. You know, that's from 1 point to forever. You know what I mean? Like pre-dynastic ain't telling you really no time period either. That just means before the dynasty started, and so that means it's early, but they didn't
click to that next one you were showing, the one after this one.
Yeah. So we're gonna go in the whole line so people could get it. And see that
that's nice.
It's hard to show this development in the other areas. And how
has anyone tried, or have you ever tried?
Man, come on,
before
you hop out on YouTube,
I don't want to ask you.
You gotta try to go look and see what they're gonna refute you with. Yeah, you gotta say.
I've seen somebody. I think who was that trying to say that the Sephardites from Mesopotamia was older than this? Remember that?
Well, I mean, so this is what they're gonna do. They're gonna use the prerogative and privilege of the date range. See, what they say is this is from 3,500 to 3,200. So they automatically gonna say, okay, 3,500. Feel me?
Right.
Because they just taking their prerogative that they got a date range and they could choose to say it's that old. But the people said, look, it occurred between the 3,500 and 3,200. Not the way that they use that data. But let's keep it popping. And then we're going to talk about some other very good stuff that we learned from here. Here's even another instance we could look at because we got to get into the mind of the artist. I'm beating the brakes off him. Because look, this is at a point where he didn't even think to put the 2 neck things on the same side as the circle. Now, I keep saying he, but I don't want anyone to think that I'm talking about one entity doing this. This was an artistic tradition and motifs developing in the Upper Nile Valley. I mean, what y'all should know as the South Nile Valley.
Yeah, they still got them rib marks.
Yeah, but you tripped off game that whoever drew this one, didn't even think to put these on this side so that they could eventually start entangling the necks. I love to do this on the big stage. Let's debate the Mesopotamian sephardites. I'll run all this back. I'll just make it more flashy. And they say this is from what time period?
Is that a giraffe?
So right here,
a long neck.
A giraffe. Do that look like, I mean,
yeah, that's what that is, ain't it?
Well, I mean, we could call it a giraffe. It could be a giraffe because these got long legs. Most of the sepharpod things have shorter legs. But what we kind of looking at is a motif where we got long necks in that same circle.
Wait, slow down, Smash. I just seen something. What is that bird right there at the top? And what are those hyenas?
You said bird.
Yeah, on the
left
side.
You don't see that bird at the top over the lion?
Those are some type of dogs, I guess.
Okay, but hold up. What kind of bird is that over there? Is that a pelican?
Well, I see some horns too, so them might not be dogs. They got horns.
Where?
Them ain't horns.
Oh, I said yeah.
There's
For
some
the
ears,
earlobe,
ain't
that's
there?
Them ears, they ain't round like that.
I'm thinking those are ears.
Well, what else we see that you was
Okay, I'm
pointing
seeing a pelican or something at the top. What's up with that?
at? Maybe that's an ibis bird, but what do y'all think? A just share bird or ibis bird?
Yeah, I was wondering why the bird was prominent, like
Yeah, it's
centerpiece in the top of there.
that's your bird, a flamingo.
A flamingo? You think that's a red bird?
Yeah, flamingos are like that's your birds.
That's good.
Yeah, that's what I see. But I know those look like either rats or hyenas. To the side right there. Above.
A rat?
I mean, that's what I'm just looking at what it looked like to me. It looked like some rats or something. Like, what is that?
Oh, well, that's good.
Look at it, man. Be honest. Like that looked like a rat, a hyena,
It's probably a hyena.
or a wild dog. That's what
Yeah,
it could
yeah,
be.
yeah. True, could be African wild dog. Could
Yeah,
be
that's what
hyena.
I'm looking at. I'm trying to make those two out. I'm like, why they put them like rats or something? But yeah, that's what I see.
But
I don't know what that is upside down there. What I guess that'd be the same thing on the other side.
Upside down? Yeah, it's the same thing on the other side.
Yeah, they just
Hey, Smash. Garfield on Garfield's show, he had some fake figurines or some type of some type of figurine that looked like what you would find in ancient Israel. Like they look white, like white people with blue eyes and shit. He said this is before pre-dynastic. And he was like, I'm just saying, like it could be Europeans that started ancient Egypt. I don't know if you've seen it before. It's like it's like a figurine thing. I can't even describe what he was showing, but he was making it seem that it was before the dynasty started.
All right, let me drop another jewel for cats who be leaking and gonna act like they know everything before I dropped it, but they about to go Google it. And shout out to all the humble people that don't need to be addressed that way. But the other people, these dudes get on YouTube tripping. They gonna act like they knew all about this. Now, what he didn't understand in making that type of statement, in academia, and in I got this loud garbage truck outside, y'all gotta excuse me. In academia and in the at the academy right now, they teaching that it was one class of ancient Egyptian statuary that was supposed to match your effigy the most. Some of them you could buy. Some people could buy another person's statue and repurpose it. So how we think, we can find statues with somebody's stuff was scratched off. And then they say, "This me now." So we think that look like them. But here's the thing, what I want to give us is a term called reserve heads. All right? I never heard that term in the conscious community. Reserve heads. Reserve heads are a class of heads, only heads that aren't even attached to the statue, that are often left in the tombs to show what the person really looked like. So if you're looking at a Tutankhamun, if you're looking at his, and I'm not to say that some of the statue area isn't to represent any of the image, but I'm saying if you're looking at the wrong items, particularly like items that could easily be resold, like a casket face. I mean, I said the wrong word for it. A Nabanks, what is the face of a Nabank called? It has a particular name. That face of Tutankhamun that we always be seeing, those could be bought and resold and stuff. Actually, you might be have one made for somebody else died quicker, and you give that to them. And I got instances of that. So what I want us to look up and research are reserve heads, ancient Egyptian reserve heads. And then, somebody need to mute their background. And then I'm going to hit us with a source on that so we can see that in academia, they know that you don't look at, and then there's even standards between vignettes that don't apply to statues as far as color is concerned. And the coloring of the statues and the coloring of the vignettes, they got a different type of a coding to it. But I don't want to go too long. I'm just going to share a video that kind of shows what I was saying.
Hold on, Smash, before you dip off. So these type of little These type of little things right here, they're not to be read, right?
Oh, hold on, I gotta see your screen. What little thing? Oh, this right here.
Yeah.
Oh, this
This is not to
palette.
be read.
No, it's
Yeah, these
not
palettes that you're
necessarily
showing,
to be
they're not to
read.
be, or were they to be read at a certain point or whatever?
Well,
You
this is
could
what's
read this?
happening. This is what's happening.
Okay, word.
The language is developing, and the script. Well, I don't want to say the language is developing. The script is developing at this time. Now, you know, development of a script is going to take some years. And so we start to see things that we could be like, do this, say that. Like he just said, that's the abyss bird, right? And we see how it's written at the top. Is they saying anything? And then we got the line under it. Do they want us to give some prominence to that abyss bird and get what they probably knew as the red land up out of that? I don't know. I don't want to go that far because they don't got no grammar. They don't got no syntax at some early periods of times. And since this ain't the earliest of them, I would say no, it's definitely would not be that. It could be indicative of that, but who knows? But I see how they got both of them aiming at the stork, and then under that we got the lion Ru. I could prove Ru was a king, but people don't want to really trip off that. Let me have some fun with y'all. Since I got sources, I'm about to act like I'm sounding pseudo, and I'm gonna set y'all up in the tarantula web. Now look, Ru was the Lion King. You know how they made the movie for Disney, The Lion King? And
Right.
then we got the Scorpion King. Well, honestly, they really be drawn on. I told y'all, I gave y'all the disclaimer, but watch how you see how this really wind up working. They're going to get their wig wounded.
I got a question about that.
Go ahead.
I was Dr.
Huh?
I was listening to Dr. Ben today, and he was talking about the Scorpion King and Aha.
Yep.
And he said that it was practically probably 3 Ahas before.
Well, I don't know about 3 ahas, but your phone going in and out and the volume doing something crazy. But it was like multiple scorpions. There was multiple falcons. There was the stork, the elephant, and I'll even see if we can find the Jashare flamingo as being somebody. But there also was the Lion King. See, this is from the work of Raphael. That's why I'm on his page. That's why I'm gonna give him these bars that just popped up out the blue. First, let's finish detailing this, and as I detail this development, we're gonna go look at how this possibly could be indicative of who I call Ru, which I think they get their indications about this Lion King crap from. And then, but we could talk about it. So when you see the Scorpion King, you know that's what they be doing. So this is what it is. Sometimes historians, thank you, Reggie. I know you've done shows on the Reserve Heads, but these other dudes be messing stuff up. You're an archer, Reggie. Now, when I'm talking about Ru, I'm going to be going in the waters where people think it'll be very easy to discredit me. So I'm about to have to use primaries to show you this. So this could possibly be indicative of some type of kingship, but it could not be. And this could be a territory. Now, the only reason why I say that is because if we look at enough of these palettes, we start to see certain things. As we did, I'm just gonna go to the end first. Here's the sepropod. Well, let's finish the sepropods right now. So here it is. They thinking of intertwining it. Dude put it on the same side. Well, they ain't intertwined it yet. All right. So, and we can clearly see that lions and bulls are representative of one thing. They're not the typical wildlife that's just on there to not be representing it. So let's go to here and let's wind this down so we can talk about the next subject. Because now when we come to, where do we come to? It's on here somewhere. Now when we come to, just go to the enormous palette. If they got it, here we go. Now when we come to here, what do we see? We see people saying, oh no, this showing he conquered the Mesopotamian people. See how wrong they got that? Like, hold on, how you taking that all about the area when we can show the development? We just went from, because you got to remember, this palette too is not a historical item. It's used by us as a historical item. The person still got to mix their makeup in the middle of the circle. So you know how technology develops. This person noticed that you don't even gotta make the ridges that big to keep the makeup or whatever this certain thing is contained. Whichever this, again, this is what, so you can ask scholars what are ancient Egyptian palettes for, and they'll tell you what I'm telling you. So the person know whichever pigment they had to mix inside of the palette, this technology developed to where he knew he didn't even have to make really big ridges to keep it contained, and as well as he could just take all of the motifs of the separate pod that were on two different pods of the palette that eventually came to one side of the palette and had a circle in between them. He could just take up a lot less space, still represent that motif, and tell a whole another decorative story. So if we could go into Mesopotamian artifacts and show anything that's looking like development like that, then so be it. Then do it. But they ain't gonna do it. We gonna have more fun. I want to hear from y'all while we go to the more fun section.
So basically, at the Norma, and like I said, what is the chronology on this? So at the Norma part, that's almost the end of the making using the separate parts or something. That's like the final stage of it. Would you say?
Yeah, I mean, no, we still will find that motif. What's the last time? That's a very good question. I don't know the last time we see that one, but you know, I don't know everything. We could
Right.
we can look
Yeah,
we can
I
look
mean,
that
I
up
don't want
quick.
to be anal about it, but
Oh no, yeah.
So I was just saying, as far as the chronology, how you showed it, like, and you saying that's pretty much like one of the last stages of it, of them doing the last step of them intertwining the neck.
The neck,
you know what I'm saying?
the most
first
recent
they just
one,
using a circle, then they just start using what we're seeing right now is one standing next to each other. Then on the next one, you will see them doing something with some curvy necks, but they're still not. And then the next one, I don't know. The next one actually the Norma's palette.
Well, I would now.
No, it was that other one where you showed.
If you want to help and do that work, come to the site and jot down the dating of each of them and put them in that type of an order. What becomes problematic is they give you these ranges, and to be honest, I'm just gonna fall in the middle of the range at all times to not say. If they say this happened between 3,500 and 3,200, well, then we're gonna say it'll be 33 something, 3350. You know what I'm saying? Right. And that's not really accurate. That's just trying to be. And so if we fighting about dates, we got to be more humble in that regard and say, look, man, the data ain't even carbon dating ain't gonna put it on an actual date.
But you know what, Smash? When we see Norma on that palette, I would have to think that this line gotta mean something, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like something going on, because why would they have Norma? Like you said.
So it definitely means something.
Yeah, I'm saying that why they centered it like that. Something going on.
So here's the thing: art don't just develop by itself. To imagine when you're drawing a picture, certain stuff gonna represent stuff after a while. You know what I'm saying? And things become if they ain't already representative as soon as you drew it. You might be like, okay, I'm about to do this one. This gonna mean this. You feel me? Even graffiti and everything is like that. And you might change the style of your S to represent money in that one piece of graffiti. Feel me? And this is how humans work. But I want to share this. Hey, Reggie, I'm waiting for you to go live. I'm gonna shut down whenever Reggie goes live because we want to see what he got to say.
Yeah, I was waiting yesterday. I was disappointed.
Yeah, I was disappointed too, Reggie. Don't ever sleep on yourself, bro. Like, you be a lot of us was going to left that side of the show. And it's still House of Consciousness. He ain't mad. He wants you to not have to feel. I can't talk about that. I ain't going to even go there. But I'm just going to say, you could go live. We would have came right over there. But let's listen to this and see what we getting from this audio. See if she say what I was saying. I don't know if I messed that up. Do y'all hear that?
Yeah, we hear it.
All right, let's see what this do right here. And I'll be trying to keep it off the screen, just not to encroach.
In this group of videos, we've been looking at some special cases in three-dimensional sculpture. Elsewhere, I've talked about the large seated statue of Hemiunu and also the bust of Ankaf. This time, it's going to be about the reserve heads, these 4 heads that you see in this comparison photograph right here.
Can I go back and show the comparison photograph? Now these is the heads that's supposed to represent your effigy or your actual image. But let him tell you, because I might mess it up.
About the reserve heads, these 4 heads. You can see perhaps not a lot of effort put into the individual.
All right, here we go. Hold on. Because, you know, they be tripping off content, and I'm just teaching.
In this group of videos, we've
educational purposes only, y'all. So here we go.
Been looking at some special cases in 3-dimensional sculpture. Elsewhere, I've talked about the large seated statue of Hemiunu and also the bust of Ankaf. This time, it's going to be about the reserve heads, these 4 heads that you see in this comparison photograph right here. Now, these 2 photographs show you more typical Egyptian statues. On one side, we see a typical pair statue, a husband and wife standing with an emotional embrace as the wife's arms reach across and around the husband. And you see the 2 different colors that they're painted as well to represent male and female. And the other statue is a single stand.
Killed them. Man, I love going to school. What? I mean, and I ain't even going to school right now. This is just a short certificate thing. But listen. What did he just say? To represent male and female? Because cats be like, why they painted red if they call themselves black? I'm like, man, y'all be messing it up. Go to an institution and they'll tell you. I want them to hear that again. But we're going to keep it going.
Embrace as the wife's arms reach across and around the husband. And you see the 2 different colors that they're painted as well to represent male and female. And the other statue is a single standing male. So these are complete statues and very typical. You can see perhaps not a lot of effort put into the individual likenesses of the faces, trying to match them with idiosyncratic details of real Egyptian faces.
Damn. He just dissed you. Slow it down. He just said, bro, they don't put no detail into that. You can sell your statue. Golly, we be messing up the whole Egypt. And I'll be having to fix it. So I'm glad my memory be showing where these quotes is at.
Standing male. So these are complete statues and very typical. You can see perhaps not a lot of effort put into the individual likenesses of the faces, trying to match them with idiosyncratic details of real Egyptian faces.
But cats will take those and say, look, and be trying to beat you in a debate and tell you that this was an interracial couple and neither of them is black. You know how hard that is to teach somebody how much error they in when they doing that? Man, I hope y'all hearing. Y'all hearing what he's saying, right?
Yeah, we hear it.
Okay, let me keep playing.
Now we're going to shift gears, though, because the reserve heads take us in a new direction. First, we have to think about the archaeological context. Here's a reconstruction drawing published by Hermann Juncker that shows us where most of these heads were found. Not above ground or in the chapels and the mastaba tombs themselves, but down at the bottom of the burial shafts, sometimes in the burial chamber, sometimes in the debris that connects the shaft to the chamber.
Hold on.
So, do they belong here? Was this their...
Can we get the image on that?
Y'all didn't see that when I put it on the screen?
I'm over here looking
at
my
bad. Hold on.
I don't know what they see.
My bad.
I know you trying not to show it.
Yeah, I was pulling it on and pulling it off.
You can freeze where we can see what they.
Yeah, definitely. I got you. I'm just trying not to overuse because they want you to come.
Yeah, I know. Just freeze it where they showing the map so we can see.
I'm gonna go back to both of the things. I thought you could see it. I'm gonna go back to all. I'll play it from here because one of these heads look like a brother who play hoop. Watch this. When they try to show how they really look, but watch this.
Seated statue of Hemiunu and also the bust of Ankaf. This time it's going to...
What you mean it's on the other? You see it now, right?
Yeah, I can see it now.
All right, let me stop the audio so I can zoom in. You see dude right here?
Yeah.
Like see exactly. They don't want to show that. When they start to show, now let's be fair. They all look at this.
About the reserve heads.
Now you know we dealing with an academic institution, so let's be fair. We could go look at all the reserve heads, but what they want to show us is a multiplicity of ethnicity and the phenotype, because these are the ones who you're supposed to see what they really look like. Not the damn Roman mummies or no Shabbatis of white people or no damn statue that you could buy for 1,000 Devon or what have you.
These 4 heads that you see in this comparison photograph right here. Now, these two photographs show you more typical Egyptian statues. On one side, we see a typical pair statue, a husband and wife standing with an emotional embrace as the wife's arms reach across and around the husband. And you see the two different colors that they're painted as well to represent male and female.
Now, look, the colors that they painted is to represent male and female. This is when I was talking, cats who was Egyptologists, like they was the best at it, came back with this statue and was asking me, well, if they supposed to be Kim, why they colored like this? And I'm like, you can't be serious, bro. Like,
well,
you know.
Hold on. I gotta be up there to be the objective person. Where would you get something to prove that that's just a stylized way of, and it does not matter about the, like, how do you prove that? That's
okay, that's a very
I know
good
that's
question.
what he said.
Archaeologists come to this conclusion because you could find statues that had somebody else's name on it. Then if we line up statues, you start to see there's a generic standard for how just to represent a person. And then you could write your name at the foot of it and let that be representative of your majesty or what have you. You know what I'm saying? But
hold on, you know what would be a checkmate smash? If you had one of them with the person looking like that said Kim.
Oh, we do. We got it, actually.
Don't even do it.
But
bro.
Reggie
you
got it.
Be joking.
Reggie
Not
got
like
it.
this,
And that's
though.
why I said it was so much a checkmate.
Not looking like this.
Just like this. And then here's the thing. Just like they got reserve heads, people was bosses could afford to get a statue made that looked like them, right? And so they had two. They had a generic one, then they had a one that looked like them, then they have a reserve head. And now on the reserve head, the artist didn't even spend time on the body because he was supposed to make it look just like the person. But let's hear from the scholars. Let me take this back off. And so he's even going to say it represents male and female here.
Embrace.
So what we learn as they teach us in later courses in this certificate course from Harvard that any of us could take, and I represent we do it, it's a quick one. Now, and then you get access to the data. Now, what they saying is that, well, again, he's teaching right now.
As the wife's arms reach across and around the husband, and you see the two different colors that they're painted as well to represent male and female. And the other statue is a single standing male. So these are complete statues and very typical. You can see perhaps not a lot of effort put into the individual likenesses of the faces, trying to match them with idiosyncratic details of real Egyptian faces. Now we're going to shift gears, though, because the reserve heads take us in a new direction. First, we have to think about the archaeological context. Here's a reconstruction drawing published by Hermann Juncker that shows us where most of these heads were found. Not above ground or in the chapels and the mastaba tombs themselves, but down at the bottom of the burial shafts, sometimes in the burial chamber, sometimes in the debris that connects the shaft to the chamber. So do they belong here? Was this their original location? Or were they just tossed into these shafts by later tomb robbers and plunderers? This is the tricky part, trying to figure out what the purpose of these heads might be. And in this photograph, one of my all-time favorites, taken at Harvard camp in 19...
Oh, okay. Thank you. All right, let me see. Now, this is the better photograph that did he say he took it or he said Hermann Juncker? I don't remember. But this is a better photograph of multiple reserve heads. Okay, and you could say, okay, well, some of them could look like that and some of them could look like that. Okay, and these are the ones where we probably will want to pull.
When it comes to insurance, nobody gives you coverage confidence.
That's
like
hella loud,
AAA.
Babylon. You gotta mute that, bro.
mean.
Oh, sorry about that. Yeah, that came through my headphones. Kind of
Yeah,
bland.
what time period is this? These statue heads.
So I'll let him do all the knowledge on it.
13, and showing a series of the reserve heads lined up on a desk, you can start to see that these were never parts of complete statues. So that's distinction number 1 from normal Egyptian statuary. Distinction number 2 is they really do seem to be individual likenesses or an attempt at portraiture. So
distinction is number 2 is that they actually do appear to be attempts at real effigies or portrait, what do you say, portraiture, likenesses or portraiture, well, then that would mean the other ones aren't attempts at real likenesses or portraiture. I didn't even know that word. I'm going to add it to my
Hold on,
vocabulary.
I'm lost now. Not to say. So the other figurines that you were showing that had the lady and the man, that's the generic one you was talking about, right?
Oh, so yeah, that's the standardized version that you could buy from another person. Basically, you could. So you know how you know how a potter will work. He will make a pot, but in his time, he's just gonna keep making pots. So somebody would just be making statues too, and you could buy one. And so not to go as that far, because that just came out of my unowned sourceable mind. But we know how the ceramic industry works, even though some of this is a lithic industry. But nevertheless, you see what I'm saying? Well, some of these might be, what are they even made of? Let's let them continue to answer the question completely.
Something we don't usually ascribe to Egyptian three-dimensional sculpture. So in this video, I would like to take you on a whirlwind tour and look at some of these heads. Maybe there are about 40 of them surviving. We won't look at that many. So here is one, now in the Hearst Museum in Berkeley, from tomb 1203. It belongs to a man named Kha-Nefer, one of the very few cases where we actually have inscriptions associated with the tomb and can put a name to the face. Most of these reserve heads, sadly, remain anonymous. Kha-Nefer shows some of the features that are typical, and of course some of the unusual ones as well.
It's free.
So as we look through
if
all
you don't
of these
want a
reserve
certificate,
heads,
hold on.
look for the modeling, look for the bulging eyes, the way the eyebrows are treated, the philtrum, that's the central area between the nose and the mouth. How are the lips done? Look at the overall pose. They seem to be looking upwards in many examples, very different from vertically oriented necks and straight ahead looking faces that you'll see on typical Egyptian statuary.
So we never heard nobody speak on the vertically oriented necks, and I love just hearing people talk about this in the way that I could absorb more about the content. But I'm not gonna. That was a detour, and I don't know when Reggie gonna go live, but he need to let me know because I want to shut down soon. I mean, I gotta go get my daughter soon, but let's finish up this content. I wanted to show y'all something much better, so we're in the show on this. I made a claim that. I first made a disclaimer that I allow me to go off on a tangent. I messed it up with saying something about pseudo, because nothing I do is pseudo. Now watch this. I said that this could possibly be the Lion King, remember? And I talked about the Scorpion King, and then I said this could be indicative of his land, Jeshurun. Now I could be off on a limb, but let me just show you something that we learned. Then I'll show you how the scholar corroborates this. Back to the palettes. So the scholar corroborates it with his actual homework. But and so everything I think I'm showing y'all, I'm sure he's seen. So let's come to this palette now and notice what's happening here. So remember, bulls and lions, that ain't necessary. You don't find well, you might find one or two lion hunts, but these are always indicative of something. And how I know, because the language is developing and they put an ancient version of a Shrek right here. Now, I would like to ask my brothers who do read, what do they see right here? A Shrek, some type of a hoop. I'll show you how this develops. But also, I'm saying that this is Ru, right? I'm saying that this may be his son, the small lion, right? And we clearly see two bulls, which indicate kingship, right? So these bulls ain't over here by themselves in double like this. They're next to this glyph, which also means a palace of a king. All right, but this is the early Shrek. We can show it develop. Now watch this. Now they're getting at Ru, but who getting at him? Look at that. You see this falcon? See it on the standard? These is the tribe of Heru, the Shemsu Hor. And it appears we know they won because they took over. Horus won this battle, but he ain't fighting Set yet, and we'll talk about that too. This is some pre-dynastic battles of the Shemsu Hor, all coming out of my
I'm only sourcing this from what I see from the data I've observed and looking at these palettes. And I'm going to prove it before the show is over. Now,
You
right?
got that guy on the top with a feather on his head with
Yeah,
the
they
bow.
all got the feathers. So when we see a feather, a bow, normally this sash, right, should be coming from the front, but it's still a Nubian sash. We know this garb, this skirt with this sash. So the sash to the back mean that you the bull. Let's see if any of them got their sash to the front. So they all
Let
got.
me ask you, not to cut you, but you be talking about other madjis with other people with bows, right?
Mm-hmm.
So who are you? Are we sure that's not those people?
Well, the bow tradition is just a southern tradition. It is one because of the Nile didn't flood out. The Nile couldn't carve out a floodplain in the Nubian substrate. The substrate of Egypt is softer. That's why they went to Nubia to get the rock for the pyramids, because they had tougher rock. Well, geologically, it actually made Kemet be Kemet, because by the time the flood, the Russian waters got up to the softer rock, it could penetrate out and push and carve out a floodplain. Now, I don't know why I'm explaining that right now. I completely lost why I'm explaining.
Wait, slow down, man.
Yeah.
I stepped away for a minute, but I had my phone on. I was listening. I was like, hold up. Now I need the chronology. I need some chronology on this. Is this palette right here before Norman's palette?
Yeah, this is before Norman's palette.
Oh man, this is a cold piece.
Let's go look.
Golly, this is cold. Do they know what they looking at?
I'm trying to show them, but I'm gonna bring it all the way home.
Man, this is a checkmate piece.
So they left too much details.
But hold up, what I came to ask you, what is that in that Shrek right there by the bulls? What is that?
So there's nothing in it yet, and I don't know why the top of this so-called hoot is formed in this way. This normally represents some type of a building structure. But I want people to, I'm not trying to be.
I ain't never seen that before.
I'm definitely not trying to be authoritative with anything I'm presenting. I'm just trying to show you what I've seen in previous research, and then I could corroborate it with the scholar's data and his research. I'm gonna do that after, but first I need to show y'all. So now this shouldn't be perceived. Let's see what this is called.
Smack.
Yes.
Hey, just going off lookership, that thing in the middle of the terrain is in the shape, just going off the shape like birds them do. It's in the shape of a what?
A dome? Oh, that's what I was thinking you was gonna say. Yeah, it is in the shape of a dome or a mound. I can't front. But I haven't put much. I don't want to front to the people like I put much investigation into it. We simply know, as we'll see in this presentation, that is an ancient thing for Shrek. So let's keep that in mind. But what we note over here is we got a totem, right? Well, what we have is somebody at the front of a procession behind whoever is the real boss right here, and then he's holding the totem. Now everybody else ain't holding the totem; they holding war weapons. So they got spears and he got a bow. So that let us know that he is the one, just like any parade. If you got the flag of the 49ers, you're going to be at the front trying to lead the procession. This is let us know this is indicative of what tribe, and this is a falcon, appears to be a falcon on the top of his totem. You feel me? And so that yeah, and so that way
that's how you go to war. That's
exactly
how this goes.
So that's how we gonna take that to know that.
He got a mace head too.
When I'm gonna show you something else. What they call this the hunter's palette, right? That's how we know that when Brother Asar came in and said it should be the battlefield palette, that I only wanted to raise my first academic contention to what he was saying, because it ain't called that. But in all actuality, you clearly see that this is not, they not hunting food. They're not hunting food. Let's look at all the game not even being touched. They got this thing in a rope, okay, with by the thing, but everything else they not hunting after.
They just walking past the rabbit.
Yeah, and now here we go with Rue again. So we know he's significant with 3 arrows in the back of his head, right? And now finding him with these arrows and with these Shemsu Hor running up on what appears to be indicative of him and his son. We know these bulls ain't part of the hunt. This is early verbiage, like the king basically saying. But let's I wouldn't hop out on a limb like that if that was all the evidence I had. You know, we archers, and so it's gonna be.
What are you doing with that rope?
That it was around whatever this type of an animal is antlers.
Oh, okay, word. I
Right.
see a rabbit.
Now look
over
at
there.
him. He in the front too with another Shimsu horror thing over here. Now, if you really want to know the truth,
I look like they done surrounded him.
yeah, but no, want to know what? I'm even gonna make it more.
That
This
might
is
be
two
the
separate.
Shrek thing.
But this, to me, this is two separate tribes of the Shimsu horror, and we'll show why I say that. Remember, he holding the Falcon standard. There's only one standard bearer for each tribe. It's not, you don't come through, well, I can show in attestations where they don't have 5 standard bearers. It'll be a standard bearer, the fan bearer, the sandal bearer. Which is like you're not about to bring 5 sandals. It ain't 5 sandal bearers either. And so you had to have these people because they could get close enough to you to put you in danger. You even had a cup bearer because you didn't want to be poisoned. So your cup bearer always makes sure you're not going to get poisoned. These is important positions, right? But I'm going off on a tangent because my intent is to prove that this is the Lion King route, and we're going to do it with primary sources. So I'm going to go back to the palettes now. I showed 2 palettes with the lion in some significance there. But before we beat the brakes off it, let's see if we can find one more.
Now, Smash, everything you showed on that palette, the Hunter's palette. Now, most of I'll say the artwork, or we'll say the animals figures, most of that is from the South, though. Wouldn't you say, like the dogs, the lion, the bull? Even though it's found exactly like that on the numbers palette, you can find the bull, you can find the syrinx, you can find the falcon,
Yep, you can
you
find a
the
lot of
men
that. You can
turned
find a lot
upside
of
down.
that. But what's absent from the Norman palette? Isn't the lion absent?
I'm with you, yeah.
See, so they smashed on dude. But we can find his symbols. Now look at this. These dudes is in some type of bondage, but look at, I'm gonna make it bigger. Look at what got them in bondage. We got a peep game. Look at what got them in bondage. Staffs. These are totems. And who at the top of the totem? Hey, Rue at the top of this one. Yep. And this looked like
that one looked like what was at the top.
Exactly. You right
like,
with me,
what the hell is
James.
that?
You right with me, James. This
Right
is
on.
the same, look like the Jashare bird, right? That's why I was like, I think that's Rue. I think that's Rue territory, and these is 2 different tribes of Hey Rue. Let's show how the primaries show this. Now you see that ain't the same bird. Everybody see that. Now they for some reason drew arms. You never find arms, arms on the totem. They drew arms from the totem, which basically say the people who venerate this nature has this person bound or captive. That's how we should read that. The people who ever venerates this totem. Hold up. All right, I'm gonna have to get ready to go.
All right.
But I'm gonna I'm gonna go on. It's 116 people in the building, so we should let it rock out though. You can host for a minute.
How long you need me to host?
I'll probably be gone for 20 minutes. It depends on when Reggie going live though.
Yeah, well I'll host.
I'll be here with you, James.
Yeah, I'll stay on.
All right, come on.
I ain't going nowhere.
Yeah,
make sure you leave it to where maybe we can share the screen and I
No,
can,
when you the host,
somebody
I'm
comes
gonna make
in.
it.
If somebody will come in, I could let them in.
Hey, Smash, so I don't forget, when you come back, you remember the 3-dimensional glyph? The 3-dimensional statue you showed of the man and the woman?
Mm-hmm.
I want to ask you about how you feel about the cultural aspect of her arm being extended around him.
No, that's not nothing. I ain't got nothing about that. I wouldn't feel no type of way if my woman did that to me either. I'm masculine in my stuff. I don't care about none of that. So I would feel it's even men, and it's men in Africa who hold hands. Now that's something I couldn't see myself doing. I couldn't even see myself walking down the street holding my dad's hand unless he needed my assistance. But there is an African tradition where men who just homies will hold hands. Because they ain't got the precepts that we got in our head. But I want to wind this up because, first of all, my daughter ain't no little ass kid. It's either you wait for me or I wait for you. And I'm starting to like you wait for me more than me wait for you. So look,
Cause me wait for you be tripping. I be having to park front the school. Uh-oh. Who popped up again? Uh-oh. Who popped up again putting bodies on food? So now we think that the ancient Egyptians just had a lion that was loose, huh? A lion just got loose and came through killing people, huh? That's what happened. Well, why do we got these standards above Ru right here? And I'm calling him Ru because that's how we say a lion. I wouldn't know no another name for him. I showed the upper portion of this where we clearly see that.
The other name.
Go ahead.
The other name for lion is acre, but I like Ru and
Yeah.
Paluti,
They
the
got
double lion.
names for him. That's cool. It's all good. So, and actually, Ru might be the recumbent lion. When a lion ain't recumbent, it might be what you saying, but Ru is maybe the recumbent lion. But it's still a
You're right.
lion.
That's something like that.
But we see another palette here with what? The tall giraffes not wrapped with their neck not wrapped around nothing yet. I mean, I ain't
And
sending
that
them to
same
separate
tree.
parts.
That's
Yep.
hold up. That's that same damn tree.
All right, I'm about to step off. I made you the host,
That's
James.
crazy.
Hold it down for a minute. If you can, I'm about to log in from the Zoom. Did I make you the host yet? Yeah, you are the host. And I can, but no, I want them to see this before they think I'm crazy, because I know when I come back, it ain't gonna be here. And people thinking, why you ain't left yet?
Yeah, I hate just the part of that is missing.
All right, well, this the one that break their neck, and I'm gonna leave it on the screen. On this palette, who's the only one inside of city walls now, drinking from a new bowl. So now I say Ru Nu. He ain't just Ru. I forgot he Ru Nu. You feel me? Yep, because he drinking from a new ball inside the city walls. So now you can't even tell me nothing about the lion wasn't no damn Lion King. And I'm going to keep over. And there go the two bulls that's indicative of his kingship, right? But we could do this faster and beat the brakes off these dudes. Because when other kings start coming up, here go another one. This is a different one, y'all. Look at this. No, that's the same bull. I'm sorry. But I'm going to go to this other one. I got him. So now this lion was doing something. But what did he do in end? This is what he did in end right here. Bow. Look, checkmate. This is literally called the towns. They call it the Tenderhoo Palace, but you see it's the town's palette. Who inside the towns? Now we see Scorpion King. I told you I body these dudes. There go King Scorpion with the Merho holding his Merho. Yeah, that's King Scorpion holding his Merho. So he really existed. Look. Scorpion, you see that scorpion? You see that symbol for kingship? Now remember when I said it was two tribes of Heru?
There go the Ru kid. I mean, there go the Ru.
Here go Ru over here. Yeah, there go Ru. And his place that he ruled was Kaka'u. And I even found that because Harkuf went there. His city polity was Kaka'u. So yeah, there go the Lion King from the Magi Archers in a nutshell. Huh?
Like, I know you got.
I'm about to log in from my phone.
The lion, he may be one of the oldest rulers because we know King Scorpion is really old.
We're gonna do that when I get back. He has a list of them. We got elephant, we got stork, we got a lot of these dudes that they just don't talk about who was represented on top of Shrek's with royal insignia. But I'm about to go log on from my phone. Be right back.
Right on. So what's up, Babylon Dunn? What we got? What we gonna talk about? What we gonna do?
Oh man, it's hard to talk about something else. I was enjoying what Smash was showing.
Right. He said it's hard to talk about something else. It was like a cliffhanger he just left us in. But I was, something, you could talk about something that you may have been studying lately. I just came across some information about another lake that's north of Lake Victoria that's actually bordering Kenya. And it's talking about the beginning of the cattle culture. So I kind of wanted to introduce that. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, yeah. I'm with it. I know the area you're talking about.
Hold on, I want to see if I could do that. Hold on.
Hey, now, one thing I want to tell you about though, and I hope we remember to tell Smash, you know the lion in the south, in like Kush, Merowe, Kustul, in those places right there in Sudan, in that part of Egypt. The Lion King was a Pedimac.
Was a what? I don't understand.
His name is Apit Demak.
Okay.
And I saw Smash talking about something about a lion, and the word for lion, I think, was apit. Well, I mean, no, because he said it was Ruti. But I think somewhere y'all was talking about something was called an apit. But it was apidemac to like, let me say how who was wrong. You know when he talk about a mini Reines and a mini Shiketo
Right.
and all of them? Well, a mini Reines husband, one of his, incarnations or one of his anthropomorphs, if you will, is the Lion King, Apidemac.
Right.
Smash, you know what I'm talking about though, because
What dynasty is the Lion King from?
Let me say this one thing though. What Smash, you know what I'm talking about, and you will too, James, if you recall or if you go back and watch the Solange video, Solange Ashby, Dr. Solange Ashby,
Yeah,
the
okay, I've
female.
watched her before.
When you rewatch her video, she talked exclusively about the Nubian kings and the Nubian queens, the goddess mothers, and in her talking about that, she break down a Petamat and how it was the Lion King. She even go into the dog culture and how some of them, a lot of the southern um, pharaohs were buried with dogs, massive amounts of dogs, and that's what we see in those palettes. But now you go ahead, brother. I want to hear what you had to say.
Right on. So this, I'm trying to lay this out in a little premise right here. So if everybody can see my screen, it says how hurting spread. And then you have a key to site samples, right? And then it has equal goats and cattle, right? And then they have the dating system and color coding right here at the bottom down, if you can see my screen, where it says the red is in the C, and I guess that stands for circle. All of these are going to be circles with the C's. But you see, I think that date is they starting at 9,000 BC to 9,000 to 8,000 before present. And then when you look at the mapping where they're talking about, it shows right here at Naphtali. Do y'all see that?
Yeah, I see it. The red mark.
You see right there where these red dots is. So when we see it from 9,000 to 8,000, this is the origins of this because this is the oldest chronological date. So then we can see. So what I'm really just going to show, just break it down the premise before she speaks, so we can know what these dating and mapping is. Because I like to use visual and I like to keep it simple. So she's going to say that the next dating is going to be in the green. Well, what used to be the Green Sahara, from 7,500 to 6,500 before present. See what I'm saying? But what I want to really look at, okay, when we look at the split of the culture, is at 6,500 to 5,500. Now, you know that you see this purple going south, but it also splits and goes north, right? See, because they'll always say that they'll always give a northern infinity. These what Brother Reggie calls it, Westerners. They'll always just talk about the north, but the nucleus starts here and then it splits north and south. You see that? The purple?
Yeah.
See what I'm saying? Now watch when it gets down to a certain thing, how it goes. When it gets to the 4,000 BC, the 4,000 before present to 25, watch how it goes from here all the way across the southern Sahel.